Be a girl with a mind, a woman with attitude, and a lady with class. To commemorate the International Women's Day this year, Ejiro Osakede, host of the Afrocentrist podcast, presents the Becoming Summit. 3 days of knowledge sharing, bringing women from all over the world. Over 10 speakers from over 4 countries. Theme: Becoming Women in Leadership. Date: March 19th to 21st, 2021. Time: 1 to 3 p.m. GMT +4 on 19th and 20th, and 6 to 9 p.m. GMT +4 on day 3, which is 21st, 2021. Attendance is free, but registration is required. Register today by visiting bit.ly/TB Summit. The Becoming Summit. Becoming Women in Leadership.
I am becoming a stronger woman. I am becoming an empowered woman. I am becoming an influential woman. I am becoming a woman of outstanding success. The Becoming Summit for every woman who chooses to challenge herself to be extraordinary. Friday, March 19th to Sunday, March 21st. Learn to lead, take initiative, innovate, and be more.
Be a girl with a mind, a woman with attitude, and a lady with class. To commemorate the International Women's Day this year, Ejiro Osakede, host of the Afrocentrist podcast, presents the Becoming Summit. 3 days of knowledge sharing, bringing women from all over the world. Over 10 speakers from over 4 countries. Theme: Becoming Women in Leadership. Date: March 19th to 21st, 2021. Time: 1 to 3 p.m. GMT +4 on 19th and 20th, and 6 to 9 p.m. GMT +4 on day 3, which is 21st, 2021. Attendance is free, but registration is required. Register today by visiting bit.ly/TB Summit. The Becoming Summit. Becoming Women in Leadership.
The biggest single obstacle standing in your way to success is not lack of education, it's not lack of background, it's not lack of money, it's lack of belief in yourself. I believe the most important thing to winning is you. It's what kind of person you are. What kind of husband you are, what kind of wife you are, what kind of dad you are, what kind of mom you are, what kind of example you are. See, folks, you are it. You are everything. The most important thing to winning it is your attitude about you. It's your attitude about life. Positive thinkers win, and negative thinkers lose. Whatever you expect to happen with confidence happens.
The fundamental key to success is what you believe is true for yourself. Not what you want, not what you desire. It's what do you believe?
The first thing you've got to do to get what you want is believe that you can. Believe it's possible for you to have it. And if there's someone out there that has done it, why the f*** ain't it possible for you? We are all born with the same amount of time in a day. And anything that they can do, you can do too.
The most important thing is your passion. You win with your heart, not your head. You win on emotion, not on logic. The most important thing to winning is the power of believing in you. The power of believing that you can win. The power of believing that good things will happen to you. The power of believing that you're special.
Believe that you can, and once you want something and believe that you can get it, you've got to block out all of the noise around you that's going to tell you can't do it. Don't listen to all that just believe that you can.
The difference in being great and average and ordinary, the difference in winning and losing is this much. And this much is what I call a special kind of attitude. a special kind of mental toughness, a special kind of hunger to be somebody. The single most important thing you'll develop in your entire lifetime is a positive attitude.
Focus on how your life will be better and what your life will look like when you get what you want. You do this and your brain will think that by helping you get what you want, you're moving away from pain and towards pleasure. Greatness isn't achieved by that one massive thing you do. It's those tiny little consistent baby steps we take every single day that add up to achieving that goal. Amazing things happen when you believe you have something. Your brain actively goes out to make it happen. Believe that you can do it and work hard to get it, and it's yours. You can do anything you want in this life, anything at all. But you've got to believe it's possible and work your arse off to get it.
I am becoming a stronger woman. I am becoming an empowered woman. I am becoming an influential woman. I am becoming a woman of outstanding success. The Becoming Summit for every woman who chooses to challenge herself to be extraordinary. Friday, March 19th to Sunday, March 21st. Learn to lead, take initiative, innovate, and be more.
Here is a special dedication to everyone who has a vision and is going through things that make you think you won't get there. This song is for you. When I look into the world, I see my dreamland, but it's far from me now, and it's getting farther. Many have gone through this lane. They have stories to tell. Some are good and some are bad, but I've made up my mind that my story will be pleasant and pleasing to hear. Though it's wrong, I am tough, and I know I will make it. I will get there some way, someday, somehow. I will get there. Oh, I've made up my mind. Sitting there in the morning, right in front of the mirror, wondering if I'll ever make it, 'cause of things happening around me. And then I heard this little voice say to me, my child, you're going to make it. And then it dawned on me that I am made for the top. So no matter what it takes, I am ready for this journey. I will get there someday,
Wow, wow, wow. 8-0 Osaka Day. That song is beautiful. I will get there somehow, someday. I just make up my mind, right? So everyone should make up their mind to get there someday. This is the Becoming Summit, and welcome to day 3, the grand finale. Yay, 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 yay. I am excited. In fact, if you've been with us from day 1, day 2, and now day 3, I'd like to see that. I want you to write in the comment section that I have been here. I have been learning and I am thriving. Can you do that right now? Write in the comment section, I have been here. I am learning and I am thriving. It's good to have you here from wherever you are. We welcome you from Nigeria. I'm in Nigeria right now. I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. I welcome you to the Becoming Summit, the last day. And I tell you, the latter will always be better than the former. So today is the grand finale, and I want you to expect to hear nuggets and insights that you haven't heard before. We guarantee that you'll have eye openers because our speakers are seasoned. They are thought leaders. They are great leaders in the digital space. And gone are the days where we say that, technology is not for me. I'm not tech savvy. These days, we all need the knowledge of technology to move forward. In fact, most organizations are seeking out employees who have both soft skills and then skills in technology. So every day we need to keep evolving and learning as technology develops. So welcome again. My name is Mamo Zowonkro, and I'll be your anchor throughout this 3-hour session. I am happy to have you here. So can we have in the comments? I like to see that the comments are flowing right now. So yes, 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 yes. I want to say that I have been here. I am learning and I'm thriving. Now, if you're just joining us today for the very first time, we'll welcome you. We'll welcome you too. I would like to know where you're watching from. So where are you watching from? Are you watching from America, from the UK, from Dubai, from Lagos, from Nigeria? Where are you watching from? We'd like to know where you are right now, where you're joining us, and happy Sunday to you. So today we have 5 speakers speaking to us on different topics regarding the technological space and regarding how we can position ourselves to thrive, either as a brand or as a business, actually maximizing the opportunities that technology brings. I mean, when COVID came, we were saying, most of us had it difficult to transit from the analog style to digital style. Now we don't have a choice. We must embrace technology. Technology has come to stay. It is no longer a question of, do I like it? It's a question of, you need it, so you have to go for it. So today, keep your ears open and then get your pens, your papers, or if you feel comfortable to write on your phones or your laptops, get whatever writing material or pads you want to use to write, because we need to take down notes. I have been benefiting from the summit since the very first day. I mean, we had our community leaders talk to us about the importance of community, of having to find a support system, as women. And you know how it is for us women. We are multidimensional, we are multitaskers, and then sometimes our hands really get full, the weight on our shoulders gets really heavy. But having a support system, a community, would sort of give you that inspiration, the motivation, and then of course the right support to help you go through your phases of life. So sisters, if you haven't registered yet with any of the communities, I will scroll the community links sometime in the course of this session, and then you're free to register, get a coach, get someone to coach you. We all need mentors. We need coaches. We cannot do this on our own. And if you want to become the extraordinary, the exceptional woman, and of course, you have to begin to pay attention to what you are learning, how you're learning, and I dare say from whom you are learning. So welcome to the Becoming Summit. We're bringing in our first guest speaker real soon, but just take a deep breath. Inhale and then exhale, because today we're going to give you the best crux of the session. So thank you again for joining us and welcome again. Hey, Drew, do we have our guest ready now? Oh, good. So I see Victory say B3. I have been here. Thank you, Victory. Yes, good to have you. Oh, by the way, we're streaming on YouTube, we're streaming on Facebook, and we're also streaming on Telegraph. So you can watch us from any of those platforms. Brenda says hi from Dubai. Hi, Brenda. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for watching all the way from Dubai. Good to have you, Brenda. Okay, I see Victory say hello too. So just send us your comments. Let's exchange pleasantries. We'd like to know how you're doing, how you're feeling today, and how ready are you to receive the teachings, the instructions, strategies from leaders who have gone way ahead of us to create their own niches in a digital space. I'm glad and happy to be here. Hafsa says, hello, Hafsa, how are you doing? Idris says, welcome everyone. Yes, welcome. Good to have you today. Good to have you today. So good to have you today. We have a guest speaker come up real soon. So fasten your seatbelts, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Nnena Jacob-Ogogo is a social entrepreneur, gender advocate, and consummate banking professional. She has served diligently and with excellence in the banking industry and female empowerment and advocacy. This is a result of the passion, dedication, and hard work she brings to her career. She has recorded over 18 years of experience in the industry and has thrived in roles ranging from banking operations, customer service, commercial banking, private banking, and culminating her career in a lead role in gender empowerment and banking. She pioneered both First City Monument Bank and Union Bank's gender desk, setting them up to run very successfully. She recently became interested in fintech with a specific interest in cryptocurrency, and since then, she's led a literacy movement to educate women in the fintech space. Please welcome Nnena Jacob-Ogogo, speaking on crypto literacy. So that's our guest, Nnena Jacob-Ogogo. Hi! How are you doing? Happy Sunday to you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to have you here, Nnena. How are you doing? Can you hear me, Nnena? Can you hear me clearly? It appears Nnena cannot hear me clearly.
No, I can't. It's breaking up. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Nnena.
Can you hear
You're
me?
on the Becoming Summit. Can you hear me?
Is
Nnena,
it
can
my
you hear
network?
me? Because I can hear you.
I can hear you now. Yeah, you were frozen.
Oh, great.
Okay, great. So I think it's better
Great.
now. You were frozen for a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. So welcome to the Becoming Summit, and we're eager to hear from you. The topic is cryptocurrency. You still cannot hear me? Okay, so Adriel
Okay,
says she can hear us
Okay,
both. So I think we should just go on with the conversation. So you have the stage now, Nnena. Please go ahead, and then we're listening to you. Thank you and welcome again to the Becoming Summit.
Okay, so I'm so sorry I didn't get that, but I'm assuming you said I can go ahead and start with the session. Okay, so I'll just start. I've been introduced. So I don't need to go into my name and what I do for a living. Okay, well, actually, so yeah, I was in the banking industry for quite some time. And let me say, first of all, happy belated Women's Day, International Women's Day. The month of March is really the month for women. So it's actually not that late. And I welcome everybody here. I'm so glad to be here. I don't have much time. And the topic I'm speaking on is something that there was something that is massive. Honestly, if we had 1 week here, I would not be able to do justice to this topic, cryptocurrency and blockchain. So I would start by saying that what I would like for you to go out of this session with is really, I guess, it would be more of like an understanding, a shift in your mindset. Yeah. So I've spoken to a lot of women about cryptocurrency and blockchain. And in the same way that we're struggling with having a lot of women in the tech space, that's the same way we're struggling with women in cryptocurrency and blockchain. And I'm here today because I'm trying to change all that. So this year's from the UN, the topic for the theme for International Women's Day was women in leadership, how to do with women in leadership. Now, when I think about women in leadership, it's not so much as in politics or governance. It's more about in our everyday lives. When we talk about leadership, we're talking about women that are sort of in any community they are, in any aspect of your life, you're sort of showing the way forward. So leading other women, that's what I'm so sorry. I'm seeing somebody that is like she's here from my childhood days. Adiri Edewo. It's like I've known her since my childhood days. I'll check that later. That's why I was laughing. Anyway, so it's more of coming from a place of as a woman in your direct sphere, how are you impacting other women? And truth is, there's no gainsaying it. It's difficult to have an impact without economic empowerment. That's something that is extremely difficult to have. So it's either you have the funds or you have the backing of people that have the funds. It's as simple as that. Now, how do we get that? And that's where cryptocurrency and blockchain for me comes in. I was having a conversation with my niece and my daughter yesterday. My niece came over for breakfast, and we were in the kitchen, we were cooking. And my niece said to my daughter that, you're not going to have to do this for any man, that you would have a chef and the chef will be cooking for your husband and, you're not going to do this. And I laughed. I said, come, please, what is wrong with cooking for a man? I cook for daddy. And my niece was like, yeah, but you enjoy cooking. That, Ella is my daughter. Ella will just employ a chef, and all that. And I said, well, honestly, I guess that depends on the kind of husband you marry. So there's some men that really don't mind if a chef cooks for them. There's some men that whatever your economic status, if you like, be the president of Nigeria, that's the woman or the queen of England, right? You still have to cook for your wife. So when we're talking about leadership and all that, we're not talking about taking power away from men. And that's what a lot of women have to understand. Okay. Women in leadership doesn't have anything to do with emasculating men. It's actually about, for me, enhancing men. Because in the world we live in, the economic world that we live in, you find out that things are so hard these days that in a family, honestly, you have to have two people bringing in funds. And even when two people are bringing in, finances, you shouldn't have one. So each person shouldn't have just one source of income. It doesn't work. In Nigeria that we live in, you wouldn't make it. When I was in the bank, I had conversations with my colleagues who were men, right, and who had families. And sometimes I wondered how they were able to send their children to good schools. And we all want that for our children. We all want our children's lives to be better than us. And how do we achieve this? And I think the first thing that we need to do as women, no one has to cook for anybody, male or female. Like I said, it depends on you. I love cooking for my husband. It's something I love. If I didn't love it, maybe I wouldn't do it, but I happen to love it. There's some men that love cooking for their wives, and you can't take it away from them. They would do that. So exactly. So I think it's about, it's about the dynamics of the marriage, but that's not what we're talking about here. That was by the way. Anyway, so this seminar is about becoming. Is it possible not to see these comments because they're just making me laugh and distracting me? Is it possible that I don't see the comments that are coming on? But anyway, we're talking about becoming, right? And when you talk about becoming, it's an action word. It's something that you deliberately have to decide to do. It's not enough to come for conferences and watch motivational speakers, listen to motivational speakers and all that. At some point, you have to take that decision. I was at a conference on on International Women's Day, and one thing, that I spoke about was the fact that what COVID-19 has done for us, even though we may not know it as women, it has given us another opportunity. So with today's statistics as we know it, right, it will take about 200 years plus to bridge the gender gap, economic parity gap between men and women. With COVID-19 and what it has done, it could either become much larger, the gap could either become much larger or actually shrink. And I'll tell you why I say this. when I was working in the bank, there was something called you could work from home. So there was work from home, right? Nobody ever took advantage of that. It was there. HR had put that in place. And, when I got to Union Bank, it wasn't an FCMB when I was working. I know it's there right now. When I moved to Union Bank, I found out that they had this policy in place. And I was really excited because for me, that was like, advancement. But I noticed that everybody comes to work every day. And I said, really, why? If this is available, then why are we not making use of it? And I was told that, you know how Nigeria is. If you tell your boss that you want to work from home, it's assumed that you're lazy. So it's really eye service. It's assumed that you're lazy. It's assumed that you don't want to work. And so people will start looking at you funny. Even the issue of maybe you're through with your work by what? 5:30. I mean, I have a laptop, I have a phone, I have an iPad. So wherever I am, I can work. So it's very easy for me to decide to leave the office by 5:30, because I have a driver, I'm being driven home, I'm working on my laptop continuously. I get home, I'm still working. It really doesn't matter where my location is. But in the world that we knew it back then, it wasn't like that. So in our mentality, your boss needs to be seeing you in the office before it's determined that you're actually working. All that has changed. How many people go into the office every day now? There's some offices that have not been to the office since companies that have not been to the office since last year, March. And they're making them being much productive. So apart from the fact that, in fact, when I was working from home, I was still in the bank, we used to call it this work from home, WTH. We used to call it a scam because I guess because of the fact that you're working from home, you just feel that you have to be working constantly. So there's no closing hours, there's no Saturday, there's no Sunday, you're working constantly. And people were actually much more productive. That's what we found out. Right. And I guess also when you know that you don't have to spend 2, 3, 4 hours in traffic, your brain just sort of rewires itself and you feel lighter, you're more ready to work. Then when it comes to the organizations themselves, you're not spending so much, the overheads are much less. You're not spending so much on diesel because of generators. You're not spending so much on your physical buildings and all that. So overheads are much less, and organizations are finding out that it's better to be leaner. And that's what COVID did for us. So today, you find that WTH is not a big deal anymore. People just work from home. Now, apart from that, COVID is on one side. Then we come to the fourth industrial revolution, and I'm getting into cryptocurrency here. We come to the fourth industrial revolution, and we begin to see that our jobs as we know them today, a lot of them may not be relevant in the fourth industrial revolution. And this talk is 20 minutes. So like I said, I actually don't have much time to go into anything in detail. And I want you to go and Google what that is. Why I said we have another opportunity as women is because in the world as we know it today, women are no longer what we call shrinking violets. So somebody said they like what my niece said. My niece, came out and said, oh, I don't have to cook for a man. My daughter says it as well all the time. She's totally different from me. Totally different from me. She's much, she believes in asserting herself. She believes that she has, it's up to her. It's not a man. So me, I'm still like, the other day I was saying, please leave me. I still want my husband to open the door for me. I still want to treat me like a lady. In fact, I think how this thing started was I was saying Ella is so much more mature now. She was carrying seaway water to put on the seaway thing. And then we had talked about changing gas. I said, please, nobody should ask me to carry seaway water to put on that thing or change gas. I'm a woman. I'm not going to do it. And my niece and Ella were like, there's nothing like woman or man. Anybody can do anything. And that's true. So the environment that we live in now, anybody can do anything. And we need to have that mindset shift, okay? So technology should no longer be foreign to women. Cryptocurrency, blockchain should no longer be foreign to women. And in the blockchain and cryptocurrency world, we have like, the percentage is about 13% women in this space. And if you get to know this space, this is a space that, for me, this is the next revolution for women. So if as women, we embrace technology, and technology has changed, so we also need to stop thinking about technology as maybe mechanical engineering, you're repairing, you're fixing a car, or you have to deal with with tools and all of that. Technology is so different these days. You have AI, you have there's artificial intelligence, you have blockchain technology, and all these things are like the soft sciences. So they're nothing heavy. anybody that is determined can do them. And the jobs coming up in the fourth industrial revolution, most of these jobs are going to depend on this kind of technology. Presently, as we speak, when that time actually comes, and that we're talking about like a year, 2, 3 years from now, the percentage of women jobs that will be eradicated, eroded, jobs as we know them today, the percentage to male jobs is much more. So if we don't step up and close that gap now, we're going to be in a worse off situation than 200 years to bridge that economic parity gap. And maybe where formerly we could blame men for trying to, oppress us and keep us down, we don't have that luxury anymore. We're exposed. You and I are exposed. We know what we can do. The opportunities are endless. They're out there. So far as you have a phone and you have, Wi-Fi, honestly, you don't have any excuse for not being the best you can be. And I've gone all this way without talking about what cryptocurrency actually is. So cryptocurrency is, when we talk about cryptocurrency, we're talking about, and blockchain, we're talking about a form of payment. So let's take cryptocurrency as a form of payment, and that can be exchanged for goods or services, right? So where you find that right now, all we're dealing with is fiat money. With cryptocurrency, and fiat money is paper money. Cryptocurrency are different coins or tokens that can be used as exchanges, right? And it doesn't have to, it's not replacing money in the sense that it's not going to replace fiat money. It's so much more dynamic than fiat money. There's so much that cryptocurrency can do that it's not even fiat money. All it does is you buy, you sell, you give payments. In the cryptocurrency world, we're talking about a whole different ecosystem. So what cryptocurrency has done is to take your normal economic system. So that's maybe like the banking world, the insurance world, and it has digitalized it. So you have Bitcoin being the first and foremost cryptocurrency, and I'm sure all of us have heard about Bitcoin. And if you look at what it's doing right now, Bitcoin, as at last month or early this month, actually passed gold in terms of ROI, return on investment. If you had one Bitcoin, if you bought one Bitcoin, let's say 15 years ago, because there was an analysis we did on that, 15 years ago, and you bought gold or you stayed in money, as at today, in Bitcoin, your investment would be worth over 1,000%, over 1,000% ROI. Nothing else can give you those kind of returns, absolutely nothing. As we speak today, banks are giving between 1 to 3% on your fixed deposits. Yeah. What is treasury bills? Treasury bills doing about 3%. There's nothing that can give the kind of ROIs that cryptocurrency can. And I thank God. I saw a mail yesterday, or an article, talking about the fact that the CBN had come out to say that they didn't say you cannot trade in cryptocurrency. And really, a CBN cannot come out and say you cannot trade in cryptocurrency. Is global. It's not a Nigerian thing. Our honorable Ngozi came out to tell Nigerians that you just need to get on board with this program. This is what is happening, and you have to move ahead with the times. So we cannot put our head in the sand and say cryptocurrency is not transparent, it's not this, it's not that. And the funny thing is actually all of this. With cryptocurrency, it's completely transparent, right? Monies cannot move from one place to the other without a trace, except when you're using what you call privacy coins. Apart from that, it's completely transparent. That's the beauty of the blockchain. You know exactly what everybody is doing. And blockchain technology has come today, and because I'm using the terms interchangeably, they're not the same thing. Now, blockchain technology is a form of technology, and it's like, let's say it's like the internet. So when the internet first came, all you could do with it was email. I don't know how many of us are old enough to remember that. You could just do Microsoft's email. So you send an email from one computer to the other. It takes time to get there. It's not even immediate, but that's all you could do with it. And then things started developing, and then you could do a bit more with the internet. You could Google. I think first of all it was it Wikipedia or something? Then you could now Google and search for things and all that. And now today we can do everything with the internet. And that's how blockchain technology is. When the blockchain technology started, it started with Bitcoin. the first cryptocurrency. So that was all you could do with blockchain technology, right? But then, because it's such an advanced technology, individuals started taking it, and there's absolutely nothing you cannot do with blockchain. So blockchain exists in every sphere, every aspect, and that quickly brings me to let me talk about the opportunities that are available in the blockchain world. So apart from in cryptocurrency world, because this is more of cryptocurrency. Now you have investing for women and men, but this is a women's conference. You talk about the 4 things you can do with cryptocurrency. There's 1, investing. So investing, you talk about long-term passive income and all that. And I'll give you a scenario. Assuming you had 1,000 naira, 100,000 naira today, and you put it in your bank account. It's not just that the money is not appreciating; it's depreciating because where it's being eroded every single day, right? Because of inflation. Now, if you put that money in cryptocurrency, if you knew what you were doing and you put it in the right cryptocurrencies, it's appreciating in value. So I'll give you some examples. BNB, that's a cryptocurrency coin, was about $40 as at January. Today, BNB is 200 and something dollars. So if you had put 100,000 naira in that cryptocurrency as savings, today you would have, it would be worth times 5, really. Yeah. So that's an ROI of over 500%. And there's so many other cryptocurrencies that are like that. Now, is it should I say, is it risky? Greater risk, greater reward. But the great thing about this space is the more you know about it, the more you can mitigate. So it's possible to actually navigate the cryptocurrency world very safely without losing money if you're not greedy. And it's the same thing with everything. So say I want to start a fish farm, for example, and I put in my money and I don't know anything about fish farming, I will lose that money. It's the same thing with cryptocurrency. If you start with cryptocurrency and you put in your money, but you don't know about it, you would lose your money. So information is very key. And because I don't know how much time I have left, because there's not much time here, what I want us to do is to go back and start thinking more about the fact that for those of us that have always, like I was when I was in the bank, 2-3 years ago, people were talking to me about Bitcoin, and I was like, please hold yourself. I'm not interested. It just seemed just something funny to me. But researching, you learn about it and then getting myself trained on it. And I realized that this is just an amazing ecosystem. It's not just about the coins, it's about the technology behind these coins. So if we can go away from here today, just sort of opening our minds, and becoming means going from one end to another end. It just means allowing yourself to evolve, right? And then, so that's investing. Then you have trading. Trading is another aspect of cryptocurrency that you can do, and it's something that you can do without even any other job. It's an amazing source of income. You can turn your money from $100 to $10,000 in 6 months if you know what you're doing, right? And then you have a career. So for career, anybody can be a blockchain analyst. All you have to do is, you don't even have to go to school to be that. The certification online, and you can just go, do like a 3-month course, and the opportunities for blockchain in the blockchain space are enormous because we don't have a lot of people working in that space. So the kind of salaries you earn, you're talking about in the hundreds of thousands, and you can actually work from home. And then the last case use I'll talk about is business. So even in your business, with blockchain, you stand to gain a lot, and cryptocurrency. So you business will have something rather you want to buy something, rather than having to look for dollar at black market rate, you have your cryptocurrency. Your supplier collects cryptocurrency. You just transfer. It's a 2-second transaction. 2 seconds, the money's with the supplier. The supplier gives you what you want. You don't have to pay bank charges. You don't have to buy dollar at black market rate. There's so much that can be done with this. But at the same time, it's just for us as women to come out of that stereotype that we've always had, and we need to own this. This is something we need to own. If as women, we decide to take this world by by storm it. There's no way we're not going to close that gap, and nobody's going to hand this to us. Absolutely nobody. We need to do this by ourselves. We need to rise up and say, this is something we can do. Start researching, start getting to know more about it. This is something that anybody from anywhere, this is pandemic, the rates of domestic violence, it went up by over 40%, and there are women in homes that cannot. They think they can't leave. They can't leave their spouses who are battling there every day because they can't provide for themselves or their children. And how many jobs are really, really hard to come by? I mean, there's only a certain number of jobs. That's the truth. There's a finite number of jobs. But when you talk about being entrepreneurial and working for yourself, then you can do anything. The sky is completely the limit. So this can be just one of the streams of income that you have. I mean, they say as a millionaire, to be a millionaire, you have to have about 7 streams of income. So how many streams of income do you have? That's something that you need to think about. And the first thing one of the things I said when I started is when you talk about economic empowerment, when you talk about leadership, that can only come with economic empowerment. So if as women today, we decide to actually take the bull by the horn, and get into this space and see what it is we can do, and we become fully empowered economically, it is women like us that are going to free our fellow women. Because let me just drop this before I go. When you talk about, even when you look for funding, and you talk about angel investors and you talk about grants, which is one of the reasons that we're now having a bit more female-only angel investors. Research showed that when you have men and women, male and female, coming for grants, somehow, and this is psychological, without knowing it, okay, there's already a bias. So 60-70% more men are given grants than women, because they call it you trust people that are like you, right? So men are just more likely to give men money. And this is, with all due respect, without me being I'm not a what is it called? Feminist in any way. I'm not a feminist. I just love women, and I just know that we can do much more for ourselves. And so that is something that I'm trying to propagate everywhere I go, an awareness of that. Yeah, and so I think that's what I have to say for now, since I don't have that much time. Am I on time?
Thank you, Nnena, Jacob-Ogogo, for that insightful session. It was very enlightening. I take a few things so many things from what you said, especially the things I wrote down. I'd like to just reiterate. You said that anybody can do anything. So we're now in the era of becoming anything we want to be. There are no limitations, and we can open our hearts to embrace opportunities, the opportunities that technology daily brings our way. So women, it's a charge for us to go for the cryptocurrency opportunities. We can, right? And because we can do it from anywhere we are, it is a good chance that we can take. Thank you so much for speaking to us today. We appreciate you. Thank you for your time. But stick around, because we're coming back to you with our questions after the whole guest speaker session. So please, Nnena, stick around with us. We'll be back to you later on, during the course of the summit. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, then. Okay, so we are up for our next speaker, and I'm sure you're having a good time. If you're having a good time, can I see it in the comments? Can you share with us your take from Jacob-Ogogo's session? Can you just write out what you gained from the session in the comments? I have just shared mine with you. Anybody can do anything, and that is the word I will take out today from this session. Anybody can do anything, so I can do anything. Okay, so we're getting ready now for our next speaker, and that today our focus is digital space and technology, how we can harness our potentials using technology or digitalization. So I'll be bringing up the next speaker right now. Adro, if she's ready, let us know so we can bring her up right now. Lola Denton is an IT professional with over 13 years of experience in the financial services sector. Her practice has seen her take up service and leadership roles in IT service management, strategy planning and execution, IT procurement management, business process re-engineering, IT finance and budgeting, database design and reporting, project management, business analysis, product development, and user-centered design. Please celebrate Lola Denton as she speaks on design thinking and user-centered design.
Hello.
So I actually had to check out the meaning of digital thinking. I was like, what's that? I mean, design thinking. I said, what was that? And then I find that design thinking, I'm sure you'll define that for us, but what I checked out from that, from Google, was it provides a solution-based approach to solving problems through emotive lenses and sensitive feelers. So I'm sure you give us more insight into design thinking and user-centered design. Good to have you here, Lola Denton. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, and I trust you're doing great as well. Hi, everyone. It's an honor and a
Yes,
privilege to be on
I
this stage.
am. Good. So welcome to the Becoming Summit. We want to hear from you today on design thinking and user-centered design. So you have the stage.
Thank you very much, Mamuzo. And hello again, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. I like to think of March as International Women's Month because a lot of good things always happen in March. So, without further ado, let me start with the show. All right, so today we're talking about user-centered design. And basically, I'm going to focus on why user-centered design and design thinking should be a part of your core business strategy. So just give me a moment. I'll put up my slides so that we can start. Okay. Awesome. So I've titled this presentation, All Users Matter, why user-centered design should be your core business strategy. And I like what our host did. She actually took some time out to Google what this whole thing is about. So I'm here to demystify it for us. You know, a lot of us hear user-centered design, design thinking, and we think, oh, it's just one of those fancy things that they do in IT departments. You know, it's not really something that applies to me as a business person, but that's not true. As our first speaker said today, she said something very important, which I really like. Gone are the days when tech was just an optional part of your operations. Now, tech is an absolute must. You have to be technologically inclined. It doesn't mean you have to be a tech professional, but it means you have to be tech savvy. Setting up this summit, for example, involved a lot of tech. And I can assure you, most of the people involved are not even people with tech backgrounds. That's how important tech is. It's like breathing air right now. So all users matter. Why should user-centered design be part of your core business strategy? I'll start with the words of a very iconic woman, and it's a phrase, it's a quote that I know we all are familiar with. Dr. Maya Angelou of blessed memory said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget the way you made them feel." Now, this speaks to one very important aspect of user-centered design, which is the fact that it's about emotions. I know there's this stereotype that women are more emotional than men. This is not the session to debunk that, but this is just to emphasize the fact that as human beings, we all feel emotion. And emotion is an important part, an important aspect of building your brand. So let's delve into what user experience is. A lot of us see these words flying around, user experience, UX. User experience is UX. By definition, user experience is the overall experience of a person. In other words, what the person feels when they're using a product. They're using a website, they're using a computer application, a mobile application. Basically, it talks about how easy or pleasing it is for the users. So this tells us something. The overall experience basically is how that product or service makes you feel, right? So we are still going along the theme of emotions. And I'll take it to the next point, which is the fact that UX is extremely important. It doesn't matter whether your business is product-based or service-based. It doesn't matter whether you offer physical things or you offer services. What matters is how the people that you come in contact with, your clients, your partners, your vendors, your shareholders, how they experience those particular things. Now, there's a common mistake that most businesses make, something that as business people in this forum, I think we should be well familiar with. Now, look at this. Businesses tend to focus a lot on customer experience. Oh, we have that a lot, customer experience. A lot of people have customer experience units, customer experience departments, and there's less emphasis on user experience. So yes, we have all those nice and wonderful call centers, complaints helplines, and things like that. But we don't have people who actually focus on user experience. In fact, in most organizations, especially the large organizations, user experience is basically a role in the IT department that just focuses on designing beautiful user interfaces. But that's not user experience. User experience goes well beyond this. Now, let me put it on the next point, which is the fact that if your users, if your customers, and I'm going to use users and customers interchangeably in this presentation because basically refers to the same set of people. In other words, people using your product or service. So if your customers have a terrible experience when using your products and services, well, you might as well say goodbye to your customer experience department. But hold on a second. I know you might be thinking, what do you mean? So the thing is this. A business is set up with one objective, and that is to succeed, to make money, to make an impact. A business has strategic goals. Now, the only thing that is stopping any business from achieving these goals is what? Pleasing the customers, which is why you set up what? Customer experience. Customer experience, however, is part of the story. Inside customer experience is user experience. Now, if we say, for example, a particular service or product is launched and the customers have a hard time using it, how well do you think that product will do in the market? I can get what you're saying. Probably not so well. So let's look at what 2020 brought upon us. I mean, we all heard the stories. 2020 was a wonderful year. I don't want to say otherwise. 2020 was a fantastic year. Yes, there was a lot of stress and there was the pandemic. But guess what? In every dark cloud is a silver lining. And the pandemic presented a golden opportunity for businesses that were willing to take that opportunity. And what do I mean by that? Any business that found itself sinking into the reality and saying, oh, there's a pandemic, the economic outlook is bad, governments have locked us down, everything has gone to bust. Such businesses found themselves literally in the pits. However, businesses that adapted to the reality of the pandemic, the fact that people now had to work from home, the fact that there was a lockdown and movement was restricted, the fact that there was this terrible disease and nobody knew when it was going to end, any business that sees the opportunity that this presented, rather than look at the bad side of what was happening, the negative news and all that, any business that adapted itself to that reality was actually a business that survived the economic downturn. I mean, we are all witnesses to this. Many of us, if not all of us listening to me right now, attended various seminars, summits, masterclasses. So many things happened during that period that people could never have imagined happening. I mean, by the end of 2019, we all thought 2020 was going to be business as usual. And in fact, I think this week is exactly the year to the date that the lockdown was announced in Nigeria, So any business that didn't focus on creating new opportunities out of this disaster, as it were, basically found themselves lacking. Now, what did these businesses do? I studied quite a number of cases, especially those businesses that seemed to do well in the pandemic period. They focused on what their users were facing. So, I mean, all of us today, we're users of some particular products or services. We are all users at some point to some particular product or service. So what happened? By this time last year, most of us were locked down. We couldn't go out. We still had things to do. We still had obligations to meet. A lot of us still had to work, especially from home. A lot of us had to work from home with the demands of family involved. A lot of us were under pressure, especially students who were not able to go to school and still had to somehow make a way to study. So different scenarios like that. Now, this presented two opportunities for any business that was willing to take it. The first opportunity is that businesses understood that there was limited mobility for their users, right? So what did they do? They created virtual solutions. So whereby you had physical classes or seminars or summits, these businesses decided to create virtual versions of these things. And as a result, we saw an uptick in the use of virtual conferencing software. Suddenly, we started hearing about Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet and all that. These applications had always been there. But guess what? 2020 saw a huge uptick because it was a response to the situation at hand, which is that people were locked down. Another opportunity, especially for businesses in telco, was the fact that there was increased demand on data usage. Now, prior to this time, most people would make use of limited data plans, and especially for those in the professional settings or in the academic settings, there was free Wi-Fi in the office or free Wi-Fi in school. So there weren't really so much demands on data. All of a sudden, this changed. People had to start buying more data so they could keep up with their classes, they could keep up with their work meetings and things like that. And this presented an opportunity to anyone who ran an internet-based business. While some vendors decided that it was a pandemic and all hope was lost, others realized that, you know what, my customers are working from home. Therefore, they have more access to the internet. Therefore, previously, when I used to advertise maybe at night when they were going home or on weekends, I can now advertise 24/7 and get responses. And guess what? Any business that took advantage of this opportunity that focused on these user challenges actually made a killing. I know of some Nigerian businesses, I will not mention them by name. There's one CEO I know in particular that made 214 million naira in the past 8 months. Now, his business had been running for 10 years and he has not seen that kind of revenue ever. But in 8 months, he raked in 214 million naira. Let that sink in. He doesn't even run a tech company. It's a service-based business. So let's move on. UX is bae. Yes, we say things that we love are bae, but why is UX important, right? Great user experience translates to great reviews of your tech product or your service, whether it's an app or a website or whatever it is. Once you have fantastic user experience, trust me, you're going to have fantastic results. What do I mean by that? Okay, now let's go to the other side. If you have a poor user experience, basically all those wonderful apps you built, that fantastic, well-designed website, honestly, if you're looking to get 5-star ratings, just introduce bad UX and guess what? You can kiss those ratings goodbye. Now, I'll give some practical examples. Let's have enough of the theories and let's go to practical examples of some apps and websites that get it wrong when it comes to user experience. Remember, I said earlier that your app or your website, your computer application, your software, your mobile application, these are the front ends to your business. No matter what kind of business you run, you must have at least one or more of these interfaces. It could be your social media presence, it could be a website, it could be an app, whatever it is. But guess what? Even the big names get it wrong all the time. I'll give you some examples. Now, we all use WhatsApp. Okay, that's an assumption, but I would like to assume that we all use WhatsApp. Deleted messages on WhatsApp. Who can guess what happens when, okay, so I want to send a message to my boss, or no, let me put it this way. I want to send a message to my partner, my boyfriend, for example, and I say something very intimate, like, I love you, for example, and I mistakenly send it to my boss because that was the most recent chat on my WhatsApp feed. What do I do next? I go and delete that message, right? But guess what? There's one thing WhatsApp has done, which most UX practitioners would agree is very terrible. When you delete a message, what happens? You see there, Lola has deleted this message. What does that do? It now elicits a response from the person you sent the message to in error. Like, what did you delete? I mean, that has happened to practically all of us. It's bad UX. First and foremost, if a message is deleted, let it be deleted. Remove it completely. What WhatsApp has done is essentially just hide it. You're not deleting it. And it's bad UX because your interface is supposed to tell you that what I say I have done is what I have done. But in refusing to delete that message, in effect, it's just basically placing a mask on that message. You're not deleting anything. And that is why you always get those defensive reactions. The whole point of deleting a message is so that the person doesn't know there was a message in the first place. So That's an example of poor UX design. CNN, 2 versions ago, their mobile app was completely terrible. In fact, their ratings in the App Store tanked because of this. CNN had this terrible startup music. I mean, they probably thought it was cool to always have their theme music play whenever you start the app. But trust me, it's very intrusive. First and foremost, don't have any startup anything on a mobile app. Music is very disruptive. The person could be in a quiet place. I mean, we do this all the time. You could be sitting in a meeting and you just want to quickly check something on your app, and suddenly it plays loud music and gives you away. It's bad UX. CNN has since corrected this issue, but it has remained a reference point for UX design. Now, Netflix is another notorious offender. You know this thing where you go on Netflix and you want to just check a trailer and the thing starts playing. Why would you start playing something automatically? You've assumed I want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. I just want to see the synopsis of what show I'm trying to view. But Netflix went ahead and did over-sabi and decided that it would be a good idea to even play it for you. Who has that time? If I want to see the trailer of 1 or 2 shows, I don't want to sit down and start watching it automatically unless I ask you to play it for me. Don't make assumptions for your users. Poor UX always makes bad assumptions, and this is what Netflix did. Let's look at some websites. Now, because of time, I would have loved to demonstrate some of the websites to you, but because of time, I'll just keep it concise and be as descriptive as possible. So the first one is websites that have, where you go to, and Nigerian banks are very notorious for this. Nigerian banks, Nigerian financial institutions especially, you go to the website and they say, oh, sign up for an account, and you go and click on it. And then you see this long form that's asked for everything. They want to know your grandfather's name. They want to know your mother's surname. They want to know your great-grandmother's. They ask you for like 50 things at once. Who does that? It is terrible design, and trust me, nobody has time. We're already tired of paper forms, and you are translating that stress to an online application. Now, the people that get it right, what do? They tell you to fill in just 2 or 3 fields, and they'll tell you, oh, we'll get back to you, we'll contact you so that we can fill out the information. That is focusing on your users. All these examples I mentioned don't focus on the users. They rather focus on how the experience can be better for them. You don't do that when you're talking of user-centric design. As business people, we must avoid things like scrolling text on websites. People are now accessing websites using mobile devices, using all sorts of different devices. So you don't want to have a situation where they are trying to read what you wrote and they just see something flying past and you think you've made a very cool design. But meanwhile, nobody knows what you're trying to say because the thing has gone by so fast. Marquets are so 2010. Don't do it. Okay? Next example is mobile responsive websites. Now, believe it or not, there are still 1 or 2 Nigerian banks, I won't mention them, that don't have mobile responsive websites. Yes, they have apps and they have things, but for the website itself, trust me, in a situation where 60% of people are accessing things using their mobile device, you really need to have a responsive website. It makes no sense having a desktop version of your website and that's the only version. Like, did you sack your developers in 2010? Please call them back and tell them to design responsive websites. Okay, let's move on. Now, we talked about great UX and why it is important. You see what we have here? I know some of us might be watching on mobile devices, so I'm going to read out what I have on the screen because it might be a bit small. Now, this particular banking app, I won't mention the bank so that, it's not like we are promoting any bank. It's a Nigerian bank, and their app is number 8 in finance apps on the Google Play Store. Now, these are 2 5-star ratings that were dropped in March 2021. The first one said, this is the best mobile banking app ever. It's so seamless. The app is even faster than the previous version. It's very comprehensive. I love the PDF option of transactions. Actually, it has been a good app. One thing that made me like the app is the fast transaction, you see. The second reviewer said, I like the new interface and the dark theme that was introduced, and I'm a fan of dark themes. The app is quite faster. So you see the trend that this is taking. Why would people give you 5-star ratings? It's not because your app is so fantastic or whatever. It is because of their own experience. I want us to note this. It is the user experience that translates to excellent ratings. Now look at the overall rating of the app, 4.6. That means approximately 90% of the people who use this app love it. And that is because of the user experience on the app. Now let's go to the flip side. Somebody gave a 2-star rating on a different banking app, and they said, I used to enjoy this the old version of the app, but it is frustrating. I can't download and I can't share my transaction receipts. You see, it still speaks to the person's experience on the app. Your app might be fantastic, the graphics might be great, you might have wonderful typography, your tech might be on point. But if the user cannot do what they want to do, trust me, forget about those 5-star ratings, just forget it. Now, look at the second review. The person said, improve on your transaction history. It's very frustrating when I can only see transactions of the past 7 days. So you see what we're saying? This person dropped 1 star. I've seen reviews on this same banking app where people were like, you guys don't even respond to complaints, therefore 1 star. You see that 1 star? It has nothing to do with how the app is itself, but how the people experience the apps. So we'll quickly look at some common user design mistakes. And the first one is that developers typically develop for developers. So what does this mean? I've worked with developers for over 10 years, and I can tell you one thing, developers take great pride in what they do. You can't tell a developer that he has designed nonsense, but guess what? If a developer thinks his work is so great and the user thinks it's nonsense, it's actually nonsense. Now, I know developers who will not design websites, for example, and test with other browsers. They only test with Chrome. There was a project I was on at some point, and we're like, oh, did you test this on other browsers? Did you use Safari? Did you use Internet Explorer? And the guy goes, what? Internet Explorer? Edge? Who uses those browsers? Guess what? Your users do. So it is important to develop for the users and not the developers. Now, Nigerian firms do something. And in my working experience, I noticed this quite a lot. So we are coming up with a nice website or a nice app and all that. But you don't even test with your users. What you do is you have an internal IT testing team. The test team works closely with the developers. They test and they roll out. Nigerian firms need to embrace the culture of user testing. Get people from outside the organization to test those things. It's what they call beta testing. It may not be so many people at once, just 1 or 2 people. Or, people that are not techies, people that are going to use the app, and you can get valuable feedback from them. Now, 3 financial institutions in Nigeria, they learned this the hard way. I kid you not, these people had ratings of 2 and 1 star overall on the App Store. They had to retrieve those versions of the apps, three of them in 2020 because of issues like this. Now, customer avatars are great. We always talk about creating customer avatars and things like that. But does your business even understand the customer needs? Yes, you have this wonderful avatar. Okay, my customer lives in VI, my customer is this, my customer is that. Have you engaged them to actually find out what their needs are, what their requirements are? Businesses need to do this all the time. Now, I'm close to wrapping up, but I want to show you one of the best UX examples, if not the best out there, which is the Google homepage. You see Google? Google is the #1 search engine that services over 1 billion searches per minute on the internet. But look at their homepage, very simple. Now, tell me how difficult it is for you to just do what you want to do on this page. It can't be that hard. This is the example of less is more. These guys are focused on the fact that users are the ones at the center of the experience. Okay, the guy comes to Google. He doesn't want to know what news. There is one MSN used to do that. They'll put like 50 news items, 30 images, image of the day, quote of the day, this one, that one. The user just wants to search for something. Search box, search, random search. I want it in this language, end of story. So Google is a company that really gets it when it comes to user design. Now, why your app or website is killing user experience instead of killing sales? You should be making sales, but you can't make sales if people go to your website and all they see is pop-ups. Sign up for a newsletter. The guy hasn't even gone on your website for 1 minute. He just lands, opens the page, and next thing there's this form harassing him. Oh yeah, sign up. Let's know how far, come on my list. No, you need to give your users time to even know what they want to get from your website first. Another example is, you get to a website and the thing just starts playing audio. Just immediately there's a video playing or something and it's loud. The guy could be in a bus or somewhere inconvenient, and then he lands on your website and you are harassing him with this audio. Don't do it. Poor navigation. Some people go, they can't find the menus they are looking for. They can't find all sorts of items, or you have icons without descriptions, assuming that people will know where everything is, which is why you must always test with users so that you will know what the experience is for your users. Poor typography. I see this quite a lot. Some sites have 4, 5 fonts, different sizes. The headings are not consistent. The body is not consistent. So many things are just not consistent, and yet you expect people to stay and do business on your website. They won't. Bad graphics. I don't have to talk too much about this. We all know what bad graphics look like. ads. You go to some websites and all you see are ads. It's like they've been waiting for you so that they can serve you those ads. There's a way you can do it without getting into overkill. Just don't do it. Finally, slow load time. If your app takes forever to load, your website takes forever to load, you might need to optimize it. That is a technical discussion which I won't touch on too much here. But needless to say, nobody wants to experience the inconvenience of trying to open a banking app and you're waiting for 1 minute to open a banking mobile app. Don't do it. So, finally, no search bar, making it difficult for your users to see what they are looking for. So in wrapping up, I'll recommend some reading if you want to go into this topic a bit more. I think it's important for every business and career person listening right now to focus on user-centric experience and user design. So this book right here, it's one of the Bibles of user-centric design. It's called The Design of Everyday Things, and it's written by Don Norman. You can get it on Amazon, and you can get it on any reputable online bookstore. Another one, this one I read, I make sure I read it once every 6 months. It's called Don't Make Me Think. It focuses on web and mobile usability. And some of the things I talked about here are concepts that have been shared in great detail in this book. And finally, I will wrap up with a slogan. I know we all heard Make America Great Again. But what I would say is, let's make user experience great again. Thank you for listening.
Wow, that's some awesome stuff. That's some awesome stuff, Lola Denton. Thank you so much. Wow, wow, wow. And I heard you say user-centric design. You need to be focused on user experience. And I just had to write down some things that I thought spoke to me. You did mention that we need to observe our users, go out there, don't just assume that you know what they want. Go out there to test with them. Observe how they're using your product or service and then get feedback from them so that you can, of course, make amends here and there and then give them the best experience as much as you can, because with the best experience your user gets, the best, they will of course put your word out there to everyone that you have the best kind of service for whatever service you're offering. So thank you, Lola Denton, for sharing this with us. We're grateful, and I'm truly enjoying myself today. I'm sure everyone who's listening has learned a number of things already. Please, let's applaud her. I want to do those applause in the comments. Let's celebrate her. And someone says, wow, such great learning. Yes, 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 yes. I've learned a lot. I'm not such a tech-savvy person, but I'm going to learn how. And those books you recommended, I'm going to definitely read them because I need to brace up and be ready for the new generation, because the technology is constantly evolving and then we need to be relevant. Thank you so much, Lola. We appreciate you. And let's not forget that Nnena, our first speaker, mentioned that if you must be relevant, if you must make great impact in this generation, you need to have 7 streams of income to become a millionaire. I'm imagining to be a millionaire, you need 7 streams of income. So if we need to have more work opportunities, we need to learn the right skill sets. We need to improve on our hard and soft skill sets. And so our next speaker will be talking to us about having the right skill set to stay relevant in today's economy. And Idra, are we ready to have her come on now?
Elizabeth Kalu wears multiple hats as a social entrepreneur, digital marketer, and brand strategist. Over the past 7 years, she has gained international experience working on social impact, innovation, and developmental projects with a focus on education, digital access, youth and women empowerment in Nigeria. She has worked on reputable projects with Facebook and Google in Nigeria, where she helped implement strategic goals that impacted over 10,000 small and medium-scale businesses in the areas of digital skills access, leadership, and entrepreneurship. As a digital marketing and brand strategist with a passion for creating solutions for corporate organizations, startups, and SMEs, she executes projects and campaigns from the ground up using consumer insight, content marketing, and data. Elizabeth Kalu is committed to SDG goals that tackle poverty, quality education, gender equality, decent work, and economic growth. As a result, she partners with Google Women Will, a Grow with Google initiative where she trains women by supporting their economic potential through digital skills and community building. She also works with Slum to School Africa to create innovative initiatives that have impacted over 170,000 children to receive quality education. Elizabeth has a bachelor's degree in accounting from Suffolk University, Boston. She's currently pursuing a master's in public administration at New York University with a focus on social impact, innovation, and investment. Please welcome Elizabeth Kalu speaking on digital skills for the new economy.
Hi. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, let's celebrate Elizabeth Kalu. Her profile is quite impressive, and I'm eager to hear what she has to teach us today on digital skills for this economy. Good to have you here, Elizabeth Kalu. And I love even working with children.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you
Thank
hear
you.
me?
I can.
Yes, I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you
me?
clearly.
Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Okay, so welcome to the Becoming Summit.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so take it away.
Okay, yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, AJ and the entire conference together. I really appreciate you guys. So today I'll be talking all of away a lot of things from my slides because obviously time. I love that this year's theme is choose to challenge. And before I go into like my presentation, I just want to remind you, woman, of your value. You are brave, you are important, you're valuable, and I literally want to, Glove 28, it says, God blessed them and said to them. It didn't say God blessed him only and said to him. It is a them factor. So male and female. Be fruitful, multiply, dominate, increase in number. So it is a mandate. I literally want to remind you today of your mandate, the command that God has given you, woman, you man, listening to me today. So depending on what you choose to challenge in your career, in your personal life, I hope that you really remember this command and this mandate. And if you're that person that is like, oh, I've already started on my part, I don't need to challenge anything, I'm literally challenging you to dream bigger because there's always a next level. All right. So also in line with that, remember that your value really is a measure of your usefulness to yourself, to your family, to God, and society. So as you, there's also a part in the Bible, Proverbs 8:18, that says, the gift of man makes room for him, right? And today I dare say the developed and refined value of man literally flings the door open for him, right? So it's beyond just having those gifts. It's all about refining it. There's a constant the way that evolved, the way I've gone beyond. Hear me? We're right now in the fourth, industrial revolution. That same way, the same way the world keeps evolving, that's the same way we also need to keep evolving. All right. From my own personal experience, just quickly, from my own personal experience, digital skills, having the digital skills has really set me apart from a lot of things, right? So even right now, currently at NYU, a lot of opportunities I have, because I have digital skills, I have gotten those opportunities faster than other people, right? So I am a living testimony that having digital skills in this digital world, digital age can literally set you apart. Having digital skills can put you at the center of the intersection of the public, private, and private sectors where you can literally leverage your skills to thrive, right? So it's very important that we remember that. And I know one of the speakers also mentioned something about the SDGs. As a result of the COVID pandemic, literally the SDGs has slowed down. The achievement of the SDGs has slowed down, which is a really sad situation, to be honest. But and in line with that, there's a statistic that says that as a result of the pandemic, it is predicted that by 2030, the number of people living in extreme poverty will be over 1 billion. Like I when I saw that stats, I'm just like, what is going on here? Like we literally, and that's honestly why we need specific digital skills that would help us to avoid the risk of automation, because this is the age of automation. Literally everything is automated, right? So in line with that, I'll just like to go quickly to sharing my slides, and I'll specifically focus on digital skills that are transferable to different industries and different roles, right? Okay, let's get that started. For some weird reason, my laptop isn't picking up my slides. So, okay, it worked. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay. So, like I said before, as a result of the COVID pandemic, literally things have been accelerated, and we are currently right now in the future of work, right? So it's very important that we always remember that. I would like to shift a bit to the data side of things and AI. Okay. And before I go into that, it's very important that sometimes these stats can be really heartbreaking, but it's very important that we actually know them so that we can better position and prepare ourselves for what's ahead, right? Stats shows that 35% of women globally are in STEM students. That's science, technology, engineering, and math. Only 35%. And also 28% of women in STEM fields, they are 28% currently, as opposed to 72% of men. And even more heartbreaking, as at August 2020, it was shown that only 2.6% of women were CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and all of them were white. You guys, come on. Like, this is the point where you're like, we need to, you get angry in your spirit and you're like, we need to level up, literally. And according to Bank of America, says that the revenue in AI related technologies is on course to grow from roughly $2 billion in 2015. This is as of 2015, to about $127 billion by 2025. So literally, those that are thinking about data right now, those that are thinking about AI, industries like, or companies like Netflix that are already leveraging on such tools, they will be ahead, right? So it's very important that we understand not just the stats in terms of data, but also the numbers in terms of revenue, right? And how this applies to not just the industry at large, the industries that we are interested in, but also our businesses. So if they say AI is projected to be $127 billion by 2025, literally my Igbo self, as an Igbo woman, I'll literally be asking myself, what is my cut in that $127 billion, right? And as business people, as career people, that is literally how we need to be thinking. So what is your cut in this entire, this $1 billion industry, right? And when it comes to AI is literally changing the future of, I wanted to say the future of work, but I dare say the future of life. As of 2020, it's predicted that AI will be able to compete in World Series of Poker. By 2024, AI would be able to code in Python, you guys. That means they can easily replace human beings that used to code. By 2026, AI will be able to write a high school essay. Like how? It's just so amazing. And like I said, it's very important that we know these things so that we can better position our businesses. There are some of us listening here that are more like solopreneurs. So 5 years from now, 10 years from now, how would you include technology? Like not just regular having a website, but go beyond that to including AI to what you're doing. Oh no, I was speaking with one of my friends today, and he was telling me about someone that is building a startup that would use AI to basically determine something to create braids, like literally braids that women put on their hair. And I'm just like, come on, this is like very, very extra. But that's it. That's life. That's what's happening right now. By 2028, AI will be able to generate creative videos. So, and I specifically actually like this one that says that by 2049, AI will be able to write a New York Times bestseller. Boom. I feel like at this point we need to close the entire presentation because this is literally just mind blowing. Anyways, moving on. So in terms of digital skills, like I said, I will focus on the top cross-cutting specialized skills of the future. The reason why I chose this is because for me personally, I like to call myself a tri-sector leader. So I know I can thrive in different industries. I know I can thrive in the public sector, in the private sector, right? Because of the skills I have, because of the knowledge I have, because of the networks I've been privileged to be exposed to, right? So in line with that, I decided to put together, just focus on these skills that can be transferred to different occupations. And like digital marketing is very, very big, and there are different dimensions of digital marketing, right? So I'm going to get to the part where I talk about like how to really go about these things step by step. There's software development, there's business management, advertising, human computer interaction, development tools, data storage technologies, computer networking, web development, data visualization, entrepreneurship. I would like to really focus on this entrepreneurship because I was checking out roles in some of the top tech companies, fans that can all entry roles. They literally specifically were looking for people that had built something, maybe, or they were currently building something, right? So if you had built a startup and let's say that startup somehow didn't work, they wanted you because you had certain entrepreneurial skills that they would like to get on board, right? So those entrepreneurship skills are truly, truly important. Then of course, AI, artificial intelligence, data science and data analytics, retail sales, technical support, always, social media, from social media marketing, management, all of that. It's all about the eyeballs. So content is very important. Graphic design. I love that the previous speaker talked about design thinking. I love design thinking. Thinking about user experience and all of that. It's super, super important. And she also mentioned that she cannot deal with designs that are not good. Same with me. I think in design for the most part. So graphic design is very, very big for me. Information management, management consulting, product management, and of course, business analytics. So these are some of the skills that you should start thinking about. Of course, some of them have different segments to them. So that's why you should actually take out time to decide on what you want to focus on and not just, say, oh, I want to do this and attend every course on the planet because it's free. Don't do that. And let's move on. When it comes to startups, right? Startups literally need to start thinking about how technology would help them on all levels. So from sales to increasing your bottom line to double bottom line, that's thinking about your social impact and social returns. Then of course, human capital. When it comes to using data, back to data again, data and AI and machine learning, every single thing in the Internet of Things, all of these things together, it's very important that startups start thinking about how to not just scale, but also include technology in what they are doing. These days, we see a lot of foundations or family offices like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and all of these other initiatives out there. They are specifically looking for startups that that use technology to solve pressing problems, right? So it's very important that you start thinking about this. So beyond just, oh, how can tech help me to increase my sales? You're thinking financial and social returns too. Super, super important. I'd like to give some examples of companies that are leveraging on data and AI to basically thinking beyond, like they're thinking 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Stanbic Bank, we all know, most of us know Stanbic Bank. They literally have robots called Blue Bots that have been deployed to some branches of Stanbic IBTC Bank to perform different banking activities. Because if you think about it, obviously they know that robots don't get tired. They know that robots can work 24 hours, right? They know that they can, as a result of that, of them working 24 hours, they can perform financial transactions even way faster. So they consider all of those things and think about time. And as a result, they are cutting off certain roles that would have been occupied by human beings. These things are real. This is not a case of, oh, they said it will happen in the future. No, it's literally happening right now. Then, of course, we know Netflix. Every single time that you see, oh, Netflix, as a result of what you watched or what you've watched in the past, Netflix now recommends certain other movies for you to watch that you can then add to your list. That is AI, that is machine learning. All of those things are right in front of us, right? Then when I saw this, I was just really, really excited. Samson is all about soilless farming. You guys, I'm just like, people are thinking, they are using their minds so well to think beyond the physics, the regular, right? So he has this aeroponics, which is a process used for growing crops in a soilless environment by suspending the roots in the air. I'm just like, how? So this is advancement in agriculture, literally mind-blowing. So this whole thing about our aeroponic farming system, where basically plants receive nourishment from low energy LED lighting and periodic spraying with a solution of water and other nutrients. I mean, read up on it and check him out. I had to bring, one of the examples from home so that you're not like, oh, it's America and all of these places. It's literally happening. All of these things are happening right in front of us. So we need to level up. All right. So I'll just talk about practical ways that both people in career and business can, take it a step further when it comes to really learning skills. The first thing is really take out time to identify your path in connection to your strengths, market demand, passion, and income. Mind you, I didn't say only passion because only passion can choke. Only passion alone can leave you broke. Anyways, I said figure out the path that is in connection with your strengths, with the market demand, passion, and income. That's where you'll be able to carve out a path for yourself and say, you know what, these are the skills or this is the career path that I want to go on, and these are the necessary skills required to go on that journey, so that in 5 years' time, I just saw Ejiri's comment. Oh my God, I'm trying so hard not to laugh. So that in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, you can be an expert in your industry, right? So, of course, companies these days are thinking of reskilling, upskilling, whatever you want to do. Even if you're listening to me right now and you're like, you know what, I don't know how to start, I've not started. This is literally where you need to start from, right? Yeah, so the second thing is create a roadmap and plan. So whether it's skills development, career, or business, how do you ensure that you include these digital skills and have a proper plan towards achieving certain goals that you set, right? So it's beyond just taking, like I keep saying, it's beyond just taking classes here and there and there and there, or buying courses and buying books, or taking free classes, right? It's beyond that. How do you ensure that you actually create a roadmap, a plan, saying, you know what, year one, this is what I'm going to focus on. By year 5, this is where I envision myself to be. For example, someone that wants to work in McKinsey, for example, understands that by this period, I need to be focusing on case interviews, on really understanding what case interviews are. By this other time, I need to really, really be networking heavily. By this time, I need to do this and do that. By year XYZ, I know that I'll be well positioned to be a partner, right? So these are the kind of things you need to intentionally start thinking about. Things don't just happen, but I'm 100% sure that success leaves clues, all right? So the next thing is create a timeline for skills training. So I know most of the time, learning virtually can really be tough, honestly. But if you create a timeline for yourself, and let's say you want to get a certification program online, and you're like, you know what, I think this thing is going to take me 4 weeks to finish, right? You can say every 5 hours a week, I will focus on learning this, and I'll do it on these days. Actually, it's as simple as putting out an Excel sheet, like put structure into your own personal development. It's those little things that matter, and they help you, stay accountable to yourself as you also create other accountability structures around what you're doing. So definitely create a timeline, and beyond just creating that timeline, also create, schedule those things that you want to do and set reminders. The fourth thing is plug into an ecosystem and really understand what the ecosystem is like. For example, someone that is in the fashion industry, you can't just say to be honest, saying you're a fashion entrepreneur these days is very, very broad. There are several dimensions of fashion. There are those that focus on the actual, custom design clothes. There are those that focus on fast fashion. There are those that focus on only making buttons, and they make a lot of money. So really understand how the supply chain works, understand how the ecosystem works, and plug yourself into those ecosystems, because trust me, solo game does not work. It doesn't work at all. So don't work alone. Like I said, get plugged into that ecosystem, and there are different ways you can go about this. I'll talk about one of the ways next. So the fifth thing is intentional networking. I didn't just want to come here and just say, these are all the skills, do this and take this course. No, it's beyond that. I'm telling you, like, just the little tiny things that you can do to actually say, you know what, this is my plan from this time to this time, this is what I'm going to do. And then you're literally going to see your plans, manifest. So intentional networking, everything is virtual. This is not a case of, I want to, I wish I could meet Jeff Bezos. Anything can happen. You can actually have that coffee chat with him virtually, like literally. On Clubhouse. Oh yes, this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. Clubhouse is like a gem right now. It's amazing. Like literally, people are having job interviews on Clubhouse. They are getting hired on Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse right now, leverage on it as much as possible, because once they open it up to Android users and all the other users, it's going to get really, really packed. So this is honestly the best time to leverage on platforms like Clubhouse. Beyond that, go on LinkedIn, search for people that have kind of job titles that you're really interested in, people that are in the industries that you're interested in. Send them, reasonable emails. Mind your emails, mind the words that you put in those messages. Send them those requests and send them emails, connect with them, tell them, oh, please, would you be available to do this, maybe 15 minutes coffee chat? Because these things, plugging intentional networking really, really helps. And this is networking beyond borders at this point. So definitely get connected. I know LinkedIn is one of the very valuable resources, especially for professional connections, that you should think of leveraging. Then the sixth part is really start applying your skills. I want to really emphasize on this part because there are lots of people that just learn things and learn things and learn things, but they do not apply those skills. So think about, that's why I mentioned things about, timelines and mapping out your plans and your strategy and all those things. They will help you to also, in line with that, you can also map out when you want to start actively applying these skills and this knowledge that you've acquired, right? So it's beyond just dumping it and dumping it and dumping it. You also have to be a channel, okay? So definitely create a strategy that will allow you to apply your skills. When I was still in my maybe 20 or 21, one of the ways that I applied my skills is through volunteering. I volunteered a lot, like a lot. And I'm still volunteering right now. So it helps me to really put my skills to work, put my knowledge to work, and also learn as I grow. So the last thing here is think next level. Think next level. There are some people that don't understand that they have been in this whole cycle of, oh, I'm making 100K a month and that's okay. What about making 1 million? What about increasing that to 2 million? What about, thinking beyond? And it's beyond the money part. Thinking beyond for you could be, oh, I started as a solopreneur, as a freelancer, for example. I started as a normal employee, but right now I have, invented or innovated this interesting idea. I keep saying things like the like button on Facebook was created by either a team of people or some employees. It wasn't Mark Zuckerberg thinking about it. Do you get? So all of these things, think next level. What's the next level for this thing that I'm currently working on? And this is the part where you also have, I keep emphasizing on the spiritual part where you need to actually get revelation so that God can actually show you 5 years from now what your life and what your business looks like 10 years from now and all of that. So you get not just, because there's a type of transformation that happens and it's not gotten by secular education. I'll just put this out there. But anyways, yeah, definitely think next level for what you're building. What does the next level look like? Get inspiration from people like Jeff Bezos, for people like Elon Musk. People are thinking, people are building. All right. So in line with that, there are several, I'm sure some of you already know and have already taken some courses, but there are several learning platforms that you can leverage on. Recently, Google released their Google Career Certificates, which I think you should definitely check out. So there's that, there's Microsoft Learn, of course, there's LinkedIn Learning, there's GitHub Learning Lab, there's Code Academy for those that want to learn how to code, Udemy, Coursera, Facebook Blueprint. So Acumen Academy is actually a very interesting platform that allows you to learn skills like design thinking, right? And it's free. So definitely check it out. A lot of people tend to just focus on some of these other platforms, but I think Acumen Academy really has some valuable, amazing trainings on there. So at this point, I hope this whole presentation and session has been valuable to you. Definitely reach out if you have any questions at Liza King. I'll be more than happy to refer you to resources to answer questions that you may have. Thank you so much, Adrio. Thank you so much to the entire team for having me. I really, really appreciate it. Gracias. All right.
So you did ask that you did ask if this was valuable. I mean, it was super valuable for me, and I imagine that everybody else who has listened in would see that this is a valuable session. Thank you so much for sharing explicitly. I mean, you give some staggering statistics that blew my mind. AI competing for our spaces, our jobs.
I
How do we
know,
survive the coming
yeah.
years?
Crazy.
Also, everyone who has been saying to themselves, I will get a new digital skill, I will learn a new digital skill, no time to procrastinate anymore. Now is the time to take action. Now.
Definitely.
All right, Elizabeth, we'll be having a panel session after we have our guest speakers speak to us. I mean, you're the third guest speaker for today, so we have two more to go. So after the fifth speaker, we'll have the panel session where we discuss our concerns, and us to share more insights to all of the things that that we find as concerns. So thank you again. Just stay on the background.
Sure. Thank you.
Backstage. We'll call you back with questions when the time. All right, then we are moving on. We are moving on. I am learning so much, and I do not know. I mean, my phone is already full. I've written a lot of things here and I'm going to take action. We have our next speaker talking to us on another interesting topic, and I want you to know that this is worth your time. I mean, this is a free seminar, but the only thing we ask of you is to pay attention. I mean, the only price you're paying for this seminar is that you come with your full attention, because what you're hearing today, what you're learning will change it, take action on them. So we have our next speaker, Temi Fadeyi, speaking to us on dealing with limiting beliefs. I am looking forward. Dealing with limiting beliefs. Temi Fadeyi.
Temi Fadeyi is a proficient and versatile IT consultant with a strong passion for facilitating technology delivery and digital transformation. Temi Fadeyi holds a Bachelor of Science degree in architecture and several IT professional certifications. Upon completing her national youth service in Nigeria, certain she wanted to pursue a career in technology rather than architecture, Temi started her career as a training officer with Socket Works Limited. Within 6 months, her passion for IT saw her transitioning into a database specialist. While at Socket Works Limited, Temi was instrumental to the deployment of customized portal solutions delivered via software as a service in major African countries, including Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, as well as Sri Lanka and India, before proceeding to the UK. Temi is currently the director of Leap 4 Technologies Limited, an IT consultancy firm that specializes in delivering business analysis and data analytics services across the United Kingdom. Please celebrate Temi Fadeyi as she speaks on dealing with limiting beliefs.
Can we get a rousing applause for Temi Fadeyi as she takes on the microphone? Are we clapping in the comments? Are we celebrating her? This is another icon to teach us on breaking limiting beliefs. Please celebrate Temi Fadeyi. Good to have you here, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Good to be here.
Good. Welcome to the Becoming Summit Day 3 is the grand finale, and we're looking forward to hearing you talk to us on breaking limiting beliefs. There's so many myths around technology, and I'm sure that you can address them. So we're eager to hear you speak to us today. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, everyone. So yes, I'll be speaking about breaking limiting beliefs, and let's get started. So, summit is about becoming, isn't it? It's about becoming you. It's about becoming within technology and becoming life. So, before I talk about becoming, what is it that can stop you from becoming? What are the things? Limiting beliefs can stop you from becoming, right? So, I'm gonna just give me 1 minute. talk to you about women who have broken limits, who have done things that, you know, things that we think are for men only in the technology space. So let's look at these 4 women. And the fifth, can you all see the slide? Let me know, let me get some feedback. Okay, so I'm going to talk about these 4 women quickly. The first one is Rishma Sarjani. She's a New York Times best-selling author and the brains behind TED Talk. The TED Talk teach girls bravery, not perfection. She's the daughter of refugees, and she graduated from Harvard University and Yale Law School. That's 2 Ivy League universities. In 2010, she became the first Indian American to run for Congress. The second lady, is her name is Susan Dan Wojcicki. She's the CEO of YouTube. She's been in tech industry for over 20 years. She was involved in the founding of Google. She became Google's first marketing manager in 1999. She later led the company's online advertising business and was put in charge of Google's original video service. Now let's talk about Jenny Charlton. Jenny Charlton serves as a senior VP, was recently named as the top 50 most powerful women in technology by National Diversity Council. Let's talk about Jackie Wright. Jackie Wright is a chief digital officer and corporate vice president at Microsoft. I'll also talk about Kimberly Bryant. She's the founder and CEO of Black Girls Code. Sheryl Sandberg is an American business executive. She's a billionaire. She's not a millionaire. She's a billionaire and philanthropist. She serves as COO of Facebook and the founder of Leaning.org. If you haven't read the book Leaning, you should. Now, why did I bring up this women? I want you to think about it. If they can do it, what is limiting you? So, this is how it started. This is a picture of me when I was... You were born whole, fearless, without worries. You had high expectation. You looked up. You could do things even as much as suck your fingers proudly. So what happened? What happened? Why aren't you becoming the best that you can? Why do you think you can't? It's easy to talk about limiting beliefs, to say, oh yeah, let's demystify limiting beliefs, let's stop limiting beliefs. But we also need to know, what are limiting beliefs actually? Limiting beliefs, according to Block-Fellow, are thoughts, opinions that one believes to be absolute truth. One believes to be absolute truth. They're not truth, but you believe they're truth. They tend to have a negative impact on one's life by stopping them from moving forward. Okay, I understand you can't see my slide. All right. I will end the slideshow and try to start it again. Okay. Can I get some feedback if you can see my slide now?
Not yet.
That's interesting. Uh-oh. That's interesting. Okay.
Hello? Hello, Temi. Can you hear
Oh,
us?
I know what's going on. I know what is going on.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
Can you see my slides now? Can I get some feedback, please? Oh, thank you. So technologically, I did not share the second screen. I apologize. Okay, I will go back quickly and talk about so in the first slide, I showed a picture of 4 different women in tech, powerful women in tech, and the center is you. You can't be there, right? And so just because I'm conscious of time, I already talked about them. You had, so right now I would just go on over the slides quickly. Sorry about the glitch. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now I'm having issues moving from one slide to another. Uh-oh. Okay. Now, talked about the fact you were born whole, you were born fearless, you were born with high expectation. You looked up, you even sucked your fingers proudly without thinking about it. I'm asking, so what happened? What happened? What happened was limiting beliefs. What are limiting beliefs? The thoughts, opinions that we believe, they're not necessarily true. They may be facts, but they're not truth. That we believe to be absolute truth. They tend to have negative impact on our life by stopping us from moving forward and growing on the professional and personal level. That was by blog Trello. Business Talk Plus says, limiting beliefs, simply put, are assumptions. Let's mark those words, assumptions, perceptions that you've got about yourself and about the way the world works. But they are assumptions, and they're limiting because they're holding you back from achieving what you're capable of. So are you capable? Yes. But are beliefs, the things you think about, stopping you? Now, so that you know that I've had some experience of my own, I'm going to talk about some facts that happened to me as a child that may have been accepted as things that that could have stopped me becoming who I am today and who I'm becoming. So, sorry, before I talk about that, I'll talk about where do these beliefs come from? Senses, your 5 senses, what you see, what you hear, what you see, what you hear. Society, you're a woman, so you can't. Media, oh, this is how we do it. This is what Nollywood has said. This is what Hollywood has said. This is what Bollywood has said. Women are just supposed to be dancing like that. They're supposed to be just cooking. Experiences, they're real. Inner self, that thing that starts on your shoulder and tells you, you can't do it. Now, I'll share with you some of my childhood facts. I hope my siblings won't be angry with me, but yeah. So, here is me. I was born in a polygamous home, middle child, second out of 3. So I had an older brother and a younger sister. So I wasn't special in that sense. My parents got divorced when I was 4. I was called lazy. But I was nicknamed pretty. I mean, my nickname when I was young was pretty face. I did not feel special. I was called brilliant. They always tell me, oh, you have your mama's brains. You're very brilliant. I was never praised for achievements. In my home, you come first, you have passed. You come third, you tried. You come fourth, you failed. So achieving, being top of your class you didn't get praised for it. I was timid. I was very timid. I was very, very timid. In my next slide, I'll tell you something. So of all these things, so you can see of all these things, I'll tell you the ones that I believed and the ones that I did not believe. I believed I wasn't special. I believed my achievements aren't valuable. And I believed my parents' divorce was a stigma. I felt less than other people. I was a child in primary school because my parents were not together. But I believed I was pretty. I could look in myself and say, I actually look at my mom, I'm pretty. And I believed I had a brains. My grades were saying, my grades said so. So, what am I saying here? I'm saying the things that, so those things were there. I was called lazy. So I'll tell you, I was called lazy, but I got to a point where I told myself, I did not believe I was lazy. So what did I start doing? Because I did not believe I was lazy, I started acting opposite to what a lazy person would do. I'm lying down on the bed and I'm thinking, oh, I have stuff to do. And I'm thinking, if I don't do it, I'll be called lazy. And I am not lazy. So I'll get up and do it. So it did not affect my grades. Right? But the things I believed that I'm not special, I lived with it for a long, long time. You're wondering how this affects technology. I'm coming. Now, let's look at it. As ladies in tech, ladies in business, ladies in entrepreneurship, lady entrepreneurs, what are the things that limit us? Those beliefs that limit us. I, for one, I'll tell you a story. I read architecture. I came out with third class. I struggled in uni. And because I know I am smart. What is going on? What happened? My year 1, year 2, year 3, I kept trying. Year 4, I kept trying. Extra year, I told myself, no, this is not me. I know I am smart. So the problem has to be with architecture. Extra year was when I found myself, when I found my love. And architecture, I realized, oh, I'm female. Can I really practice architecture? Can I really be good in a male-dominated field? Oh, I'm meant to be average. We're just average in my family. Nothing. I'm not good enough. Remember, I said I wasn't special. Oh, I can't communicate adequately, especially for those of us that live outside Nigeria, or you have to operate on a global level. Oh, people with my skin color can't do that or be that. I didn't realize there was any issue with my skin color until I came into the UK 10 years ago. I can't do that. For instance, I can't draw to save my life. So how am I going to achieve anything as an architect or as an artist? Or when I trained as an architect, and I've been trained, it had been trained into me since I was in primary school that I was going to be an architect. Oh, I can't be a millionaire. I'll tell you a story. My son, he's 8, asked me about 2 weeks ago, Mommy, are you a millionaire? And I thought, am I a millionaire? And I said, in a particular, in Naira, yes, I can say I'm a millionaire. But it was that day it occurred to me that I had never thought about being a millionaire in the currency of the country I live in. I always thought it was for the aristocrats. So there's an area in near where I live called Chiselost. When we used to drive past, you see those £3 million houses, £5 million houses, and we just used to drive past and smile at them and think, I never thought about being a millionaire. So that boy asked me questions. I started thinking, oh, nobody really likes me. I'm not a C-suite exec. It's not for me. What are your limiting beliefs? What are those lies that you've been told? I just want you to think about it. Write it down. Moving on quickly. Now, in this journey of breaking limiting beliefs, started to think about the facts. My first thing, what I had to deal with, especially when I was in uni and I was dealing with those poor grades, was, before I go there, let's go back. When I finished uni, my mom was still around. She was influential. She could have gotten me jobs in the bank, in Globacom. She could have gotten me, then my state was given scholarship to students from that state who did well to come to the UK to study. I could have gotten it like that. But guess why I didn't get it? I finished with the third class. Now, but in the midst of all of this, there were some facts I knew. I knew my identity in Christ. I knew I was intelligent. I knew that I had everything in me to be who I'm supposed to be. I knew I had an advantage. I always believe I have an advantage because of my faith. And I believe there was a potential in me. And also, I looked at women that had done great things. And I said, if she can, then I can. So, in all of that, those thoughts, reading books, finding myself in extra year, made me realize architecture is not for me. What is it? I thought about it. What am I good in? I remember the courses I like. I remember the courses I liked when I was in secondary school. I was very good in Introtech. I was one of those students that I would attend class, listen, and I remember everything. I'll read like a night before the exam, and you can be sure that I am going to smash it. So I just said, okay, I'm good with data, I'm good with this and do that. I said, okay, fine. I thought about it, I want to go into IT. What do I do? I'll get a job in an IT firm. And I did. I'll try and make the story short, how I got that job in the IT firm. It was my younger sister's boyfriend. He had worked in that IT firm, and I think we were preparing for something. We just met up and we're talking. And I was like, oh, I just finished an interview. I don't think I'm going to get a job, blah, 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 blah. And he said, I'll give you he gave me the phone number of the CEO of SocketWorks Global, Dr. Aloy Chife. Bless him. And he says, call this man and tell him you want to work for him. And I'm a person of faith. So this day, I can still remember this picture in my head. I was going out, and something told me, go back and go and call Dr. Chife right now. I did not have credit on my phone. It was those days in 2004. So I went to those payphones. If you're about my age and you grew up in Nigeria, you know those payphones. And I paid to call Dr. Chife, and I said, hello, Dr. Chife, my name is Sodadada. I got your number from Papa, and I read architecture, but I would like to study in IT and I would like to work for you. He said, come for an interview. And that was it. I got to the interview. At the first interview, the second interview, I got the job. I did not only get the job, I got a level higher than entry level when I joined in. And within 6 months, and then within 6 months, what did I do? I knew that the only reason why I am in this IT department is because I want to be close to IT, because I want to learn. So I'll finish my work quickly and I'll go and help a lady who was working in the database team. And then I had this, I don't know what to call him, whether friend or colleague or something. It was one of the developers, one of the lead developers. And he said, why don't you learn SQL? You actually needed the knowledge of SQL to prepare your training manuals better, the ones that had to do with reporting and all that. And that's how his name is Chukwemeka Figo. And that's it. And he gave me materials and I started learning. I was self-trained in SQL. Before I knew it, I started coding, and 6 months, I did not ask to be moved to the data department. I was moved because my work showed up for me. And the rest is history. I went on from there and did great things. But what am I saying? I'm saying that with your faith, with your belief, what was it that kept me going when I failed woefully in architecture? that belief that I might not be good at architecture, but I'm good at something. I have sense. I know I am brilliant. I believed it. So that made me come to a conclusion that the only beliefs that actually stop you are the ones, the only negative challenges that stop you are the ones that you believe. I did not believe I was lazy. I did not believe I was not a good student. I did not believe I was a third-class material. And that is why I could actually find myself, find where I could thrive. Moving on to my life now, why am I thinking, actually, I'm still thinking it, I can be a millionaire. My son has challenged me. Why am I thinking I can be a C-suite executive? Because I met a woman called Morenike Ajayi, who decided that she would not sit down and watch the BIM community not thrive. She's a finance director. She chose to be, and she is. I met a woman called Olori Ajayi, who, when she's talking in millions, she's not talking millions in naira. She's talking millions in pounds and in dollars. I met women like me. I saw Sheryl Sandberg. She can do it. I had beliefs in me. My faith helped me. I read books. I met people. Okay, let's move on. So the reason why I left this, you can see that I left some boxes empty. I left them empty because I want you to start looking at the positive beliefs, the facts about yourself that are just entrenched, that you have not brought out. Write them down. Okay. So again, I went ahead of myself. Some of the things I believed about myself that helps, that I realized I can learn quickly. I have always believed there's always a way out. When there's any problem, there's always a way out. That's my mindset. Technology is gender neutral. Technology is gender neutral. AI, cybersecurity, coding, analytics. If I can code, you can code. You can be self-taught. If another lady can do, if a lady can do UX, you can do it. You just need to learn it. And be okay with the skills that you have. I might not necessarily be a UX person, because I think design and anything that has to do with arts is not me. But I can think about the journey of a software holistically from the beginning to the end. If you're talking about the UX, okay, yes, we can balance the UX with the front, with the back end. How would it work? Be okay with yourself. I got to a point that, okay, I'm not an architect, and that is okay. I'm a techie, and I'm happy to be a techie. And with that, regarding my background, I can't help how I was born. I can't help where I was born, but I can become in spite of it. Oh yes, I was born black. I was born in Nigeria. I was born in Abeokuta. I was born in Abeokuta. Okay, so what steps can you take? Reprogram your mind. Identify gaps and develop. Invest in yourself. Speak life. What you say about yourself matters. Be true to yourself and be kind to yourself. Value what you have. And this is coming from when I talk about valuing what you have, I told you once that my achievements, I didn't think my achievements were valuable. I still struggled with that. I can say I'm still dealing with that, actually. Sometimes I did not even realize the value of what I knew until maybe I got into a project board and I presented and it said, oh, wow. When I realized maybe I'm in a meeting and I'm the only black, I'm the only female, and I'm still talking sense because technology is gender neutral. It's what you have here and what you see in your heart, what you believe. And if there are gaps, go and read. Thank God for Elizabeth. She's shared loads of stuff in terms of where you can learn, have a focus, learn. And sometimes you need to pivot. Maybe move from data into something else, or move from coding into becoming a product manager. But I'm saying learn, improve, be kind to yourself. Okay, so after all the story, Auntie Tope, what's the way forward? Let me come back to my Nigerian self. The only limits that can stop you are the ones you believe. If you remember what I said, I was called lazy. I did not believe it. If I was called brilliant and I did not believe it, I wouldn't have been able to harness my natural intelligence. Now, your skin color, if you can't change it, it's not a true limitation. Your gender, your skin color, your natural inabilities can't stop you, but they're what makes you uniquely you. I am black, get over it. I am female, get over it. I can't draw. I still cannot. I've never been able to draw. As a matter of fact, I saw my results from nursery school, from nursery 2. I have never been able. Art was always, I'll get 90, 100 in other subjects. Art was always difficult for me. So why they decided I should go and read architecture, I don't know. But I'm saying, if you cannot change it, it's not a limitation. So get it out of your mind as a limitation. It is no longer a limitation. But if you can change it, then it shouldn't stop you. Presentation skills, communication skills, learning how to code, learning digital, character flaws. I must have actually exhibited some laziness attributes because they used to call me lazy drone. But I did not believe it. And so what happened? I changed. So yes, there'll be sometimes you need to change. But if you believe it and take it in and say, oh, I'm busy, okay, what happens? So this is it. The limits, if you don't take anything out of this, I want these 3 things. The limits that stop you are the ones you believe. If you can't change it, it's not a true limitation. If you can change it, then you should. Then it shouldn't stop you. Rather, work on it. I've spent more than, okay, so I'll go quickly. So how is it going to go? We're going to break these limits. We're breaking the barriers because we can. Okay, I've been kindly given 5 minutes extra because we can. What can I say? There are so many areas in technology that you can leverage in. I'll give you a short story about what happened to me during COVID. I was working on a project that I didn't really like, and I started to just look for other clients and everything. Usually, I used to just work one client per time because what I do is consulting, can be time consuming. So I never thought, and so what happened? I was speaking to clients and things like that, and I had gotten to a place, okay, let's sign the contract. I think I'd even signed the memorandum of understanding or something like that. It was just, okay, send the contract and let me sign. And 2 days before the contract was supposed to kick off, it was retracted. The second client I was speaking to said, oh yeah, COVID, This happened first week in March last year. So out of anger, I just jetted to America for 1 week. I was like, let me just take a break and, refire. I came back and everything, and it was just like, then lockdown happened and lockdown started. And it looked like, okay, the company account is not looking very good. My own personal bank account was not looking very good. What is going to happen? Okay, I'll be fine. I should get a job. I started thinking. Anyway, in the middle of the pandemic, I was called for this opportunity. This client, decided that the only skills they wanted were skills I had used as far back as 2014, 20, because I'd matured from COVID, from coding into doing other things. But they wanted someone who could code, and they wanted someone who understood a particular technology, and actually, no, not about a particular software system. You won't believe that for that contract, I competed with people who were consultants on that particular software system. And guess who got the job? You know how. And that meant I had to go back and start using the coding skills I had not used properly since 2014. But guess what? They won. That's the thing. Once you know it, it never leaves you. They won. Okay. By day 3, I was already coding like I was coding yesterday. Why was it that it was that particular? Consultants. So those consultants knew other parts of the system, but that particular part that they wanted, it was only me that knew it. How come? That's the advantage I'm talking about. So you have an advantage. Let's nothing at all. Let's break these limits. Because we can. Thank you, everyone. I hope you're taking something.
Wow. I haven't heard you, Temi, speak so passionately about breaking the limit. I feel like I can do anything right now. Thank you for reminding us. Women actually know who they can become, but because of this self-inflicting limiting beliefs, we just stay, in one corner, brooding over, okay, I will, one day I will try, and then we just let it go. Before we know it, age has taken a toll, and then God forbid, we're close to the grave. So I'm glad you've spoken to us so well today. And our charge to every woman today is that you choose to be, then you can become. It's a matter of your choice. You have to believe in yourself. And thank you, Temi. And just before we go on, I want to read a poem by Titi Lokwe Shonuga. She wrote a poem that I find very interesting and very apt for the summit. It is titled Becoming. When the world unravels before you, and even your dreams are crumbling stones, when everything you dare to touch is set on fire, and all around you is ash and smoke, remember this: rock bottom is a perfect place for rebuilding. You are your mother's daughter. Your grandma answered prayers. A whole bloodline of women who bend in response to raging winds. There is nothing broken here, nothing damaged or discarded. Each scar is a badge of honor. Every misstep is a victory dance waiting to happen. The language of forgiveness, the intricate lessons of the universe. Your heart is just a muscle, it needs exercise. And you were born for this sort of heavy lifting. You were born one part saint, one part warrior woman. Loving yourself without shame is the most important thing you will ever have to fight for. So, ladies, the world is ours to take on. Let's go do some exploits. So many thanks to all of our excellent guest speakers, Nnena, Jacob-Ogogo, Lola Denton, Elizabeth Kalu, and Temi Fadeyi. We have heard so much. I feel like my head is so full right now. But you know what? It's not enough for us to hear. We need to do. It's an action that we see results. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have some men here too. I'll bring on the convener of the summit. If you call her energetic Ejiro is passionate about purpose and she's purpose driven. She's a woman of many parts. She's a barrier breaking woman, and it's my honor and privilege to celebrate her today. 3 days. For this 3 days, we're talking about becoming. This summit has been free. I know what other people would demand from the audience. They would ask, I will pay for this maybe in dollars or in pounds, but we got this for free. comment something sweet and kind for Ejiro. Ladies and gentlemen, let's celebrate Ejiro Saturday, the convener of the Becoming Summit.
Oh. Can you hear me, guys? Can everybody hear me? Because I think my network
is here on my screen. This is awesome, dear. This is so awesome.
Can you hear me? Because I think my network is.
And God bless you for this great work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can you hear me well? Can you hear me right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. Because I think my network has been going off and on. I'm so sorry about that. But thank you so much, Mamuzo. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I couldn't have done this alone. So yes, I'm the convener. Yes, God gave me this vision and it's been birthed, but it wouldn't have become. We wouldn't have been here. It would have become a reality without the help of everybody who is here, both as an attendance or as a speaker. I celebrate each and every one of you. I am so super grateful to you, to God and to you, because without you, we wouldn't be here. Thank you so much, Mamuzo, for being here. Big shout out to my sister, Zazie, who hosted on day one. And thank you to all the speakers who have been here, up until this time. I appreciate each and every one of you. I do not take it for granted at all. Thank you for coming to listen to these amazing speakers. Like, they blew my mind. Like, even look at the last speaker talking about breaking limiting mindsets and dropping that into tech. Like, who does that? It's just amazing. Thank you so much. So, with sadness, I'm really sad to make this announcement, but I have to. So we're supposed to have one more speaker in the person of Ebere Lisa, but she sent me a message just a couple of minutes before we went live that she had an emergency and she won't be able to make it today. But she promised that she's willing to come, to my community on another time to come and share. So it is not completely out of the table, but would have to probably reschedule for a special session with her. And if you were here yesterday, you remember I said 20 minutes is not enough. In fact, what's her name? Nnena said it. Temi said it. Lola said it. Liza said it. All our speakers so far said it. 20 minutes is such a short time for them to divulge all the value that they have. And I remember yesterday promising you that we will have sessions with all of the speakers separately from now to the next Becoming Summit. Woo-hoo-hoo! There is going to be a next Becoming Summit soon. Yes. Okay, so this is going to be quarterly summits, and the next one is going to be happening at the end of second quarter, which should be in June. Okay, so building up to that time, we'll be having consistent session, back-to-back webinars, master classes with our, dear esteemed speakers. Somebody like Nnena, we should sit in a 3 hours master class with her so that she can break it down for us, what cryptocurrency is, what blockchain is, how you can understand how to do it, what to look out for, so that you don't make the wrong, investment, how to start, whether you start small, how to start with investment. Like, it's a lot to handle, and I'm sure that she'll be happy to take you through that process, but that can happen in 20 minutes. So be ready. Look out for all these announcements, because I'm going to arrange with them, and then we can come up with a master class where we'll be sharing all of these nuggets, and where you have to be in the class with each and every one of them, asking them questions and them answering you through over a period of time. Okay, so look out for that. And how are you going to get on to this information? You have to, if you didn't sign up for this summit, maybe you're just watching, you stumble upon the live stream on Facebook, or somebody shared to you the YouTube link, then I'm going to leave the TB Summit link open so that you can join. You can still register and sign up for it, right? Because this is going to be a continuous thing, right? So sign up for it and join the Telegram group, because on the Telegram group, this is where we'll be giving you all the details, all the updates, right? And that's what it's going to be. Then on a personal level, on a personal note, just quickly before we go into the the panel session, our speakers are still sitting pretty in the studio. We are going to bring them up now, and Mamuzo is going to handle the panel session where you can ask your questions, and Mamuzo also has some questions for the speakers. But before we go there, let me just quickly say this, like Mamuzo said, I'm a woman of many expressions. One of my expressions is to help young people bring out their voices, right? I have an outfit called Mixie Fun Books. I know I'm not doing justice to that as an entrepreneur, but like Liza said, you have to be able to build, you have to be able to create a roadmap to your learnings, right? And even running as an entrepreneur, not even doing well, there is a lot that I've learned in my journey that I would like to share with you. But one of the things I know is that this is a knowledge era, and this is an era, if we say we are becoming, I'm sure that some of you would want to become more outspoken. You want to become more confident in your presentation. You have a voice, and you want to learn that voice, whether to voice over artistry or to narrating books or all of those things. We have a Facebook group called Narrators on Purpose. And that's because, like I told you yesterday, I'm a storyteller, and I'm building that capacity because I want to share your story. I want to have you go through this summit and learn something, pick up a skill, pick up a lesson that you can run with. And I want to share your story with the world to say, this was where it began, this is how it's going, and this is the progress that I'm making, right? So, but I need you to also be able to tell your story yourself. So there is that group that will belong to. You can check it out, Narrators on Purpose on Facebook, where we lend our voice. We have challenges every week to help us practice how to, become voice-over artists, or, become more eloquent in our presentation. Or even if you want to start a podcast, or you want to be a part of a podcast, a part of a team, you can be a member of that group as well. Like I said, I'm a storyteller. So I have a podcast, the Afrocentrist podcast, and I have a YouTube channel, which is where we are streaming this from. And I love to share stories. So should you have a story that you would like to share, if you have been reading my emails throughout the summit, the last set of emails I wrote it there. If there is any testimonials you have from this summit, or there's a story that you want to share. I remember when Kai was sharing her story. I remember when Fauza was sharing her story yesterday. A lot of people could connect. If you are in that space where you think your story, like what Fauza said yesterday, your story is somebody else's guide. Your story, sharing your story, somebody else's testimony. When you share your own struggles, or when you share your victory over a particular struggle, it helps somebody else who is going through that struggle now to go through theirs, knowing that they are not alone in the world. So if you have such stories to share, I would love to be your guide. I would love for you to have me help you share that story. So if you're following me on Instagram, you just go to the link in my bio, and you can book a session for us to talk through your story together, to know what part of it or what lessons that you want to share. And then I can have you featured on either my podcast or on my YouTube channel. But the point is, we need to tell our stories. We need to be able to encourage other people through our own journeys, through our own struggles, to say, you know what, you are not alone. We are in this together. And if I've gone through it and I've overcome, then you can also overcome. So these are some of the announcements that I have for you. Right now, I'm going to be leaving the stage now for Mamuzo and bringing back up all our speakers so that you can now send in your questions, and then we can wrap it up. Thank you so much. It's been amazing. Big shout out to my team back end, my hosts right here, Mamuzo and Zazie, my team behind the scene, Mani, I celebrate you. Vicky, I celebrate you. Remy, I celebrate you. Oreolua, I celebrate you. Thank you, because I couldn't have done this all by myself. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to all the attendees. I love you all. God bless you. Let's have this final panel session, and we'll round up for the Becoming Summit Part 1. God bless you. Yes, Bralade, I'm the storyteller. Thank you so much, sis. Take it away.
All right, then. Okay, so we're getting ready for the last lap of today's session, and I'll have the panelists of the panel come. Nnena, I'll come back on stage. I'll have Elizabeth Kalu come back on stage, as well as Lola Denton come back on stage. So good to have all of you. Yes, they're all coming on now. By the way, if you have your questions, please quickly write them or type them out in the comment section so that I can read them out to our panelists. So just type out your questions right now in the comments and I would read them out to our panelists. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nnena. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Lola. Thank you, Temi. I mean, I have learned so much today. And I mean, I'm finding more fulfillment just hearing from you. That I mean, I'm finding more fulfillment becoming a woman, becoming a better version of myself. And I'm going to give you my best to grow from where I am now to where I want to be. So I say to myself, it's possible to be more. It's possible to be exceptional. It's possible to take opportunities and harness, you know, our potentials. Thank you so much for chatting us so much. And we have heard from you and we will do as you have said. So I have a question for Nnena. Nnena, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. There are several myths about cryptocurrency, and maybe is a lack of education, or is the fact that they're just mere myths, or maybe perhaps they're facts. But please, can you explain to us? People have been saying, because I read a bit about this, that cryptocurrencies do not have the same protection that the hard currencies have, and so people are somewhat scared, you know, that it's just keep investing it because they feel that if the company where you have the blockchain goes down, and you would have lost your money. So can you address that concern, please?
Okay, that's a very valid concern. Truth is, if you invest your money in a company that goes down, then it's gone. It's as simple as that. Which is why I always, when I'm talking about cryptocurrency, I always go back to the fact that you must do your research. When you're talking about cryptocurrency, in everything that we do, there are originals and there are fakes, right? In the cryptocurrency world, there are coins with good usage values, and then there are coins that are just scams, right? And they come out because right now there's a whole hype around cryptocurrency. This year, the 2021 is what we call a bull run year. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm really propagating it this year, because a whole lot of money can be made this year. In the same vein, a whole lot of money can be lost this year if you don't know what you're doing. So for cryptocurrency, you don't just jump into it. It's an investment like any other investment. But let's assume you have company A that comes out on the stock exchange, or well, not on the stock exchange. They're releasing an IPO, right? And you don't do your due diligence. You don't find out what does this company do, what value is it adding, you know, and all of that. You don't do your due diligence and then invest money in it. You're going to lose money. And it's the same thing as the cryptocurrency world. When coins are coming out, you have to look at this. So when you're talking about cryptocurrency research, I'm so sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I'm so sorry. My twins just came into the room. Leave the room now. I'm in a conference. That's so embarrassing. I had locked the door previously, but when we were backstage, I opened up the door. Sorry about that. So you need to do your due diligence, right? You need to talk about what does the company do? What is the mission of the company? You need to look at what is the past trend. So if it's a coin that has been there for quite some time, you need to look at what is the past trend. You know, what has it done previously? You need to look at who is the team behind it. I mean, if a coin is coming out, if a company is coming out and you know that this company, so let's say another bank is coming out and you know that this was a former chairman of First Bank, right? And he's floating another bank. You'd be more comfortable that, you know, he's done this before. So obviously he has the experience to do it. And it's exactly the same thing in the cryptocurrency world, right? Don't let anybody deceive you. Coins are not just coins. There is always a technology behind them. So it's up to you to do your due diligence and investigate and figure out what is that company doing. Now, the mission that the company has come to do, is it viable? Is it sellable? Is there a demand for it? If there's a demand for it, who is the team? Do they know what they're doing? If they know what they're doing, how is their marketing plan? Is it viable? If it's viable, you also need to look at, so there are different areas in cryptocurrency. There's what is called there are oracles, there are DeFi coins, there are different kinds of coins. So you look at what the predecessor has done before. In that market space, there's insurance in that market space. what is the sort of market capitalization like in that market space? So if you see a coin that, like Chainlink, for example, I'm just using an example. Chainlink is a token. It's a cryptocurrency. It's an Oracle token, right? It's going for something like, I think, about $17 to $20 right now. Market capitalization is very high. We had another one come out. It's doing exactly what Chainlink is doing, but it's actually improved on some of the drawbacks of Chainlink. So if Chainlink is going for $17 and that coin is going for $1, API 3, you know then that API 3 is likely to do well, because Chainlink is doing $17. It's doing exactly the same thing, but it has improved on the performance of Chainlink. So you just need to look at this. It's very logical. There's a reasoning behind it. So while yes, it's very possible to lose money if you don't know what you're doing, and like I said, if you're greedy, it's also possible to go into the cryptocurrency space and make a whole lot of money, really, if you're very careful. I hope that answered the question.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. But I want to ask again, because for someone who is eager to just dive into, this opportunity, since you said this year is actually, a particular year where we can make more investment. For someone who is fresh, who is new into the crypto business, I mean, this might sound like a lot of jargon to him. What would be the best option to maybe get a blockchain analyst to handle the investigation parts of the business, and then, putting up the searchlights on the companies that handle the blockchains? Or what would be your advice for someone who's just starting out?
Okay, so for somebody that's just coming to the cryptocurrency space, for somebody that's just coming to the cryptocurrency space, so there are a couple of things I recommend. First of all, information is key. In cryptocurrency, you cannot go this journey alone. It is impossible. Okay, information is key. Two, timely information is key. So you can get information on a coin, something that's happening right now, but it has happened now, and you get it tomorrow, for example, and then it's too late. So you have to belong to communities. Now, a lot of times in the cryptocurrency space, a lot of these communities are paid for. I mean, a lot of the communities I belong to, I have to pay subscription to, right? But then they're different. Like, I have a community I'm building right now. It's not paid for, because when I got into the crypto space, what I realized is that for a lot of the communities I had paid, even for the ones I had paid for to join, maybe it's something about Nigerians. They just were not releasing information. They release information that suits them, things that benefit them. So you have to belong to the right communities, right? Now, when you come into the crypto space, it's so vast that nobody can tell you everything you need to know. You must you must consistently research. How are you going to do the research? You have to find out sites there are sites that give news, for example, on things that are happening. I never used to be a Twitter person. As I do Instagram, I do LinkedIn. I try to do Instagram and LinkedIn. I've never been a Twitter person. But on Twitter, I found out that with cryptocurrency information, there's online information, all the time. But you have to know the right people to follow. When you're getting into the space, you can't do this on your own. So you have to seek out communities that are ready to build and develop, people, whether they're paid or not paid. That's one thing. Second thing is that, so I keep on saying this year is a great year for cryptocurrency. Whilst you're learning, if you wait until you learn, then you probably may not take advantage of this year. So whilst you're learning, there are also communities that are able to tell you things to do. So like I said, there's investment, there's trading, right? For trading, I would never advise anybody to trade without, the knowledge. But what you could do is, whilst you're learning the ropes, so you're learning, the in and outs of cryptocurrency, but you need to learn how to start investing. There's some coins that come rain, come high water, they will do well. So you start putting small amounts of money in these coins, and then you follow. Like there's somebody I'm about to introduce to my community now. He does trades. He has said there's a program he's doing, turning $1,000 into $10,000 in 1 year. So he's flipping trades. Now, it's very easy to put in 1K and follow him. You just do everything he says. You don't need to understand it. You just need to do everything he says. What I found out, even with some of my colleagues, is because I've been talking to them about trading, and they were a bit resistant. But when they started following his trades, they've started seeing exactly, how you can make money by trading, not just by investing, but also by trading. So, it's something they're now becoming more and more open to the idea. So if you want to go into the cryptocurrency space, you can't do it alone. You need to belong to a community. I think that's the first thing you should take away from here. You need to belong to the right community. I joined some of the wrong communities when I started. You need to belong to the right communities that are ready to give you information. And then you also cannot be lazy. People think that cryptocurrency is a get-rich scam. It's not. It's hard work. It's a lot of hard work. Sometimes I'm up till 4:30 a.m. because it's global. So you're getting information. I mean, the Americans are awake, Chinese are awake, everybody's awake, when you are supposed to be asleep. So if you stay in your normal 9 to 5, and you just, it doesn't work that way, right? So you need to be ready to go that extra mile. But one thing I keep on saying is for people that actually do want to make it, I mean, take time out this year, and just concentrate on this and see what it brings to you. It's something that is mind-blowing. Honestly, it's really awesome. Did that answer your question?
All right, thank you
asking.
very much, very much. Oh, can you just share your community link or name with us so we can have it in the comments? So it's be good for us to know, for those who want to join the cryptocurrency community that Nnena runs, to put that up for us right now. So quickly, let me go back to Lola. Lola, you spoke so explicitly about user experience and how we should focus on it. And I'm wondering, for sole entrepreneurs, there seems to be a lot to be done. So I know you said how we should start, but can you just simplify it by saying speaking now to a sole entrepreneur, exactly where to start? I mean, I don't know anything about technology. I'm not tech savvy, but I need to move to create my own user experience for my own brand. What do I do?
Okay, thanks, Mamuzo, and that's a very important question. So, as with everything in life, first of all, for someone who wants to go into user experience creation as a solopreneur, the first thing to do is to get educated. So, there are lots of courses online one can do, there are lots of books. It involves a lot of research. So, ideally, the best thing is to start with education. And there are many ways to go about it. Apart from reading, apart from taking courses, if there are opportunities for an entrepreneur to collaborate with people who are already in the field, to network with people who are already UX designers, every entrepreneur should take advantage of this. It has been said in this session that we cannot function in isolation. So collaboration, networking, understanding how it works, understanding real life examples, those things would help an entrepreneur to get into it. And another thing is, especially in the Nigerian context, many people will be concerned about cost. How expensive is it to implement a solid UX strategy? So what I would advise in that instance is, first of all, don't focus on the cost. Focus on what you can actually do and then build upwards from there. Now, what I find most people do is they look at the cost and they say, this is something I can't do, or this is something that only big corporations can do. So they kind of scale back their efforts. Unfortunately, what they don't understand is that no matter how little your platform is, you can start to scale up from there. It's called scaling up for a reason. You don't plan to start from 100%. Ideally, you start from 10. So if you're on social media, for example, you can start by asking, I mentioned in my talk that you can talk to your users. So you can start by asking them questions. What are their pain points? What kind of experience do they want to have with your brand? Is there something that works for them when they interacted with you? Is there something that didn't work for them? So by the time you ask these questions, you start to implement your strategy bit by bit. All the answers you need are right there, but you need to go out and get them. So it's not so much about structured implementation. Now, the way it works in big corporations and the way it works in small businesses is almost similar. The only difference is the scale. So, for example, if you're a small business owner, for example, you can say, okay, this week I'm going to find out some pain points that my users have when using my products. Is it the way I interact with them on social media, for example? Is it the way they can go to my website and place orders for products? How easy is it for them? How difficult is it? You see, these things are right there. And by the time you gather all these things, you combine it with, the information you get from structured learning, like the kind you get in courses. One resource that I would always recommend to people is YouTube. If you don't have the money to invest in structured education, you can always get everything you need from YouTube. And the reason I mention YouTube in particular is These are real people with real examples. Now, don't go for the videos that talk about products on behalf of companies. Go to the videos that review products. That is a good way to get a firm grasp of how the user experience is supposed to work for your brand. So, say for example, you sell perfumes. There are all these beauty vloggers on YouTube. You can just go to their videos, subscribe to their channels, and watch them review certain products. They will tell you all the things they like and all the things they don't like. Then you take that back and implement in your own business. This works for any kind of entrepreneurship business structure, any kind of business whatsoever, whether it's a product you're offering or a service. That knowledge is freely available. So you can now scale upwards from there. By the time your business starts to grow, you can even work with corporations, you can work with brands, but for the initial outlay, what you can do is get the feedback, get free education, talk to people, network, collaborate. That is the roadmap that I would suggest for someone who is a solopreneur. Thank you.
I think that that's brilliant, Lola. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you. Okay, Elizabeth, you spoke about new skills, new digital skills for the new economy. And I know that one biggest challenge that I have been having personally is to transition. I mean, we seem to be more comfortable with what we already know, where we are. So, I mean, and then you're saying that AI is coming up on fast. I mean, if we're not careful, AI is already competing for our jobs, in fact, and AI will take on the world if we're not well positioned to be relevant. So for someone who is already used to doing a particular skill that is not so tech inclined and now has to find a relevant skill in the tech space, what is the best transitioning strategy? What courses would you suggest that person takes on right now? I know that there are a number of courses, but what will be most relevant now for someone who is totally fresh in the tech space?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. That's a good question. So I would say there's actually a course called, I believe they still have it available. It's called Google Digital Skills for Africa. Yeah, so it's under the Grow with Google. I think now the new name is Grow with Google. So they have a free platform where you can actually just start with the very, very basics, then gradually get to the point where you now want to focus on a particular area. So yeah, I'll definitely recommend Grow with Google. Then let me see. I was going to say Facebook Blueprint, but Facebook Blueprint is more about those that want to, there are different, but yeah, let me just say also put Facebook Blueprint there, depending on what I know they have different categories. So there are some people that want to learn ads, there are some people that want to learn probably want to learn general digital marketing. Facebook Blueprint is also a really good one to start with.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. So I did not see anyone sending in questions. Can we have you send your questions, please? Do I still have my attendees here? Can I see a wave of your hand, please? Are you still here with us, or we're here all alone by ourselves? Can I get a wave of the hand, please? If you're still here listening, can we see you in the comments? Can we also get your questions, please? Okay, so Temi, talk about you. I mean, I felt when you were speaking, I saw myself, in front of the words you were sharing, and I said to myself, "Oh my gosh, indeed, there are no limitations whatsoever." However, there are women who, besides their own self-limiting beliefs, have how do I classify those ones now? Of course, external, but they're somewhat internal because every day they're faced with, for instance, a partner who vocally abuses them and also restricts them from expressing themselves. So there are women who are in that constricted situation. They're not able to live and become the woman that they want to be. What advice would you give to such women who know that they want to be more, but they seem not to be able to find the willpower because of where they are right now?
Thank you very much for that question, Mademoiselle. What can I say? The honest truth is, a lot of women, even the ones that look pretty, have undergone or are undergoing such experience, one way or the other. There is somebody, it could be your spouse, it could be the guy at work, it could be your manager, it could even be your subordinates at work who are male. It could be circumstances. I mean, so that's why I called some of those things facts. They are facts. And okay, from my experience, what I had to do was, because I kind of had experiences where I experienced external factors actually pulling me down and kind of stopping me from being what I wanted to be. I got to a point where I stopped crying inside and saying, oh, there is more to me, I can be more. Or this person or that person, or I had to take my life in my own hands. I'm not an advocate for divorce, and I'm not an advocate for being, but taking your life on, you can take your life in your own hands, that in such a way that the universe starts to cooperate with you. Once you identify that external force and you decide that, not again, you're not crossing this line. And you're not dealing, it's not about an individual, it's about this situation. You're not crossing this line, not again, not one more day. I think I can get some echo, not one more day. You find out situations, circumstances, information, what you need to know, what you need to do will start to come your way. But it has to be you deciding, okay, I'm done. That is not happening. If you're a person of faith and you need to pray, you pray. And the information, the wisdom, the actions that you need to take will come. The people that you need would come. But you have to decide. It comes with your decision. And there are times when you actually don't even have the strength to take that decision. The strength is not there. You need a community. And it's not about fight. I mean, I had a situation where, I mentioned where I was used to being the only Black person on the floor, and I had a project that I was supposed to, I was supposed to present. The CIO was there and all other people, and the head of my tower, that's my boss's boss, was actually the person that blocked my presentation. So I prepared my PID, that's project initiation document. I'd done all the work. I'd gotten all of them to sign it. I'd done everything. I got to the project review board. I actually missed a holiday. I was supposed to go on holiday with my family, and I was like, you guys just go ahead. I'll come and join you once I finish. I need to do my presentation. And this guy said, no, the PID should be withdrawn. I did all the work. Guess what? He got somebody else to present that PID, a white guy. And this guy was Asian, and he just and I felt the only thing, what did I do wrong? I went to him, I'm like, and the CIO asked him, but didn't you speak to Temi during the week? She had sent this PID. Why didn't you make all these comments? Why are you waiting till now? They did nothing. But guess what? And after a few weeks I left, I'm like, nah, I'm not staying here. But guess what? After I left, it came to a point that if somebody, I now became the SI unit, the standard of measurement for how to write PIDs and present PIDs and manage projects. And so I may not have reaped in that environment because it was toxic, but I have reaped in other environments. Sometimes you need to take yourself out of that environment, but bottom line is, it's about you. It starts from you. If you need to get help, get help. If you need to speak to somebody, speak to somebody. If you need to get a mentor, get a coach. But if nobody can stop you, if you cannot stop you, nobody can stop you. I hope that answers your question.
It does. If no one can stop you, if you cannot stop yourself, then no one can stop you. Thank you so much. If we did not have other questions coming in, I think we've had a good session today. In fact, we've had a good summit from day 1 to day 2 to day 3. I want to say thank you to everyone who was a guest speaker on the summit, everyone who attended, everyone who played a part of one part or the other. Thank you to everyone. And remember, ladies, you can choose to be so that you become. So go and decide today. The kind of woman you want to become. I bring on now the convener, Adria Sakade, to do the conclusions, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much, Mamuzo. You've done an amazing work today. I celebrate you. Thank you. Thank you, Lola. Thank you, Nnena. Thank you, Liza. Thank you, Temi. I'm just so humbled at you saying yes to this little girl. Thank you so much. And for just bringing your A game here and sharing, from the depth of your heart. I really, really appreciate you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's a wrap. TB Summit, it's a wrap. TB Summit 1.0, it's a wrap. So we give God all the praise, all the glory belongs to Jesus. I didn't do this. I don't even know how I could have pulled this off within the short time that I did. Thank you to all this, to these amazing women who said yes. Like, I don't even know how, I don't know. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. And thank you to everybody who showed up from day 1 down to day 3. I love you all. Thank you, Brala Day. I see you, Brenda. I see you, Olaronke. Victory. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The next summit is going to be in June by God's grace in Jesus' times. It's going to be in June, but between now and June, we're going to be having a lot of, masterminds and like classes with all these amazing women right here. And please do not forget to go follow them. Please check your emails. I've sent you the links to their Instagram pages or their LinkedIn so that you can connect with them and take the discussion further. Each and every one of them has, a program or a course or something that they have to offer. So please go check it out. But I'm still going to bring them to you like this, like, oh yeah, come and listen. Come and learn how to do this, right? Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. And it's a wrap. God bless you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, my dear speakers. God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. It's all of us saying goodbye. See you in the next summit. God bless you.
Bye. Thank you. God bless you.